Chapter 50-21. Half a month passed in the blink of an eye. Lu Ming and the others finally arrived at the abominable land. When Lu Ming and the others arrived, a large number of figures rushed out of the abominable land. There were tens of thousands of them, and they were all elites of the abominable tribe. The 9 demonic spiders are also here. Very good. Lu Ming looked to the other side and saw a large number of 9 demonic spiders. The 9 demonic ruins where the 9 demonic spiders lived was closer to the abominable land than the abominable land was to the abominable land. Therefore, the 9 demonic spiders arrived earlier than Lu Ming and the others. Other than the 9 demonic spiders, there was a group of creatures that Lu Ming was unfamiliar with. There were about a few hundred of them. They were tall and burly, and they were covered in black armor. Each of them carried a black sword on their back. At first glance, they looked like a group of warriors. Creatures of the Forbidden Lands, Dark Heaven warriors. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. There were a total of 6 forces in the Western universe. Other than the humans in the Abominable Land, the other 5 forces were all creatures of the Forbidden Lands. The Dark Heaven warriors were one of the creatures of the Forbidden Lands. It was said that there were fewer of them than the other Forbidden Lands, but their combat strength was terrifying and their vitality was shocking. Their average strength was ranked first among the creatures of the Forbidden Lands. Obviously, the Dark Heaven warriors were closer to the Abominable tribe and had arrived earlier than them. As for the other 2 Forbidden Lands, there were only a few of them, and they were obviously further away. You humans are so bold to treat our people like this. Do you want to start a full-scale war? An elite of the Abominable tribe roared as he looked at the human elites behind him with an evil and cold gaze. That's right. You're provoking both of our races at the same time. Do you still think that you humans are the same as the humans of the Eldritch continent? An elite of the 9 demonic spiders shouted. Let's start a war then. We're not afraid of you. The experts of the human race were also enraged. They all retorted. The atmosphere at the scene immediately became tense. This is my personal matter. It has nothing to do with the human race. At this moment, Lu Ming spoke. He found that while there were some humans in the Azure Divine Realm like Lu Weiyang and Pang Xiao who were of inferior character and showed off their superiority in front of those with inferior bloodlines, most of the humans were good. They didn't look down on him because of his inferior bloodline. Moreover, they were very united with each other. Otherwise, there wouldn't be so many people following Lu Ming to the land of extreme evil. Their purpose was to cheer for Lu Ming. Therefore, Lu Ming did not want to implicate the human race because of his personal affairs. With the strength of the human race, they were no match for the 9 demonic spiders and the extreme evil tribe. Once the battle started, the Tsangqing Divine Realm would be at a great disadvantage. Brat, you want to shoulder the responsibility alone? You may not be able to do it alone. The 9 demonic spider shouted coldly. Brat, quickly release my clansmen, shouted a member of the extreme evil race. Release my senior sister first, then I will naturally release her. Lu Ming said. You want to negotiate with us in the land of extreme evil? I'm afraid you don't have the right. A youth from the extreme evil race sneered and kept pressing towards Lu Ming. A terrifying and evil aura filled the air. Without a doubt, this was a terrifying expert who had broken through 3 times. Besides this person, there were other experts from the extreme evil race who were also pressing forward. They were all invincible almighty. Although they were arrogant, they didn't dare to be careless. After all, Zhu Tian and Mo Sha were tied together. Humph, if you don't hand them over, I'll beat you until you do. Lu Ming snorted and waved his hand. He activated the Chaos Ring and put Zhu Tian, Mo Sha, and the others into it. Brat, you're courting death. Seeing that Lu Ming had put away Mo Sha and the rest, the members of the extreme evil tribe instantly exploded. Whoosh whoosh whoosh, the extreme evil blade was unsheathed. In an instant, 5 terrifying attacks flew towards Lu Ming. The 5 invincible almighty from the extreme evil race attacked at the same time. Despicable. You want to bully him with your numbers? 5 against 1. What kind of supreme talent are you? Fu Yuan, Zhao Wuji, and the others shouted. Divine light shone from their bodies as they wanted to help Lu Ming. This time, the human race had sent 3 invincible almighty. Coincidentally, Lu Ming had seen them before. They were Fu Yuan, Zhao Wuji, and Yen Wudao. "It's not your business. It's better if you don't interfere." A cold voice rang out. Several figures rushed towards Fu Yuan and the other evil people. They were the experts from the 9 demonic spider race. They blocked Fu Yuan and the others so that they couldn't help Lu Ming. With this delay, the attacks of the 5 experts from the extreme evil race were already close to Lu Ming. It looked like Lu Ming was about to be cut into pieces by these 5 attacks. At this moment, some people's hearts were in their mouths, while others were overjoyed. The overjoyed people were naturally Lu Weiyang and Pang Xiao. They had also followed along. Their main purpose was to see Lu Ming being killed by the experts from the extreme evil race with their own eyes. Now, their wish was about to come true. Who in the world could defeat the 5 invincible almighty from the extreme evil race when they joined forces? Unless it was an expert who had broken through 4 times. However, in the entire Western universe, among the 6 major forces, there were only 2 people who had broken through 4 times. These 2 people represented the absolute pinnacle of the almighty realm. Although Lu Ming was strong, he was still a far cry from those 2. At this moment, Lu Ming attacked. Everyone felt a terrifying aura suddenly erupt from Lu Ming's body. This aura was extremely powerful and shocking. It was like the energy produced by tens of thousands of stars exploding at the same time. Then, this energy turned into 5 spear lights that pierced toward the 5 experts from the extreme evil race. Each spear light collided with a blade of extreme evil. Boom 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 boom. There was an earth-shattering explosion, and the light was extremely dazzling. Then, the crowd saw 5 figures retreating rapidly. What? At this moment, everyone ignored the bright light and widened their eyes in shock. This was because the 5 people who had retreated were the 5 experts from the extreme evil race. The 5 experts from the extreme evil race had been forced to retreat. The 5 of them had joined forces to attack Lu Ming, but they had been forced to retreat by Lu Ming. Moreover, Lu Ming stood in the void and did not take a single step back. How was this possible? Many people rubbed their eyes hard, thinking that they were hallucinating. Even Fu Yuan, Zhao Wuji, Yen Wudao, and the invincible almighty from the 9 demonic spider narrowed their eyes in disbelief. Lu Weiyang and Pang Zhao's mouths were wide open, and they could not say a word. Lu Ming roared, and his aura soared to the Milky Way. He held the spear with one hand, and the forbidden power kept pouring into the war god spear. The war god spear kept growing bigger and bigger, and finally, it smashed toward the 5 experts from the extreme evil race. Yes, there were no extra tricks. It was simply smashing down. It was overbearing. The huge war god spear carried an extremely violent aura, and it enveloped the 5 experts from the extreme evil race. Chapter 50-22. The 5 masters of the extreme evil tribe widened their eyes and felt a chill in their hearts. Annihilation heavenly spirit. 1,000 years evil kill. The 5 masters of the extreme evil tribe roared. They pushed their combat strength to the maximum and used their strongest attack, hoping to block Lu Ming's attack. 5 killer moves rushed toward the war god spear and collided with the war god spear. Kaboom! Heaven and earth trembled violently, and the void was torn apart by the terrifying force, creating a series of hideous cracks. The 2 sides attacked each other for a breath. But after a breath, the killer moves of the 5 masters of the extreme evil tribe trembled violently and collapsed. The war god's spear did not stop. It continued to press down. Bang! Bang! The 5 masters of the extreme evil tribe retreated. They coughed up blood and their faces were pale. Break the sky! Lu Ming did not stop attacking. He used the break the sky form. It turned into a sharp spear light and pierced toward one of the extreme evil tribe members. The extreme evil tribe member was already injured. There was no way he could dodge Lu Ming's attack. With a puff, the spear light pierced through the extreme evil tribe member's body. It almost pierced through his body. The spear light sent him flying tens of thousands of miles away. If it were not for the fact that this person had a top-notch source-grade armor, he would have been killed. Then, Lu Ming changed the direction of his spear. He swept out and hit one of the Extreme Evil Tribe members. The Extreme Evil Tribe member's body flew out like a meteorite. He flew back into the land of extreme evil and crashed into a mountain. The mountain almost shattered. The remaining 3 masters were shocked. They could not help but retreat. You want to leave? Lu Ming's eyes turned cold. He slapped out and used the primitive desolation form. A continent appeared and pressed down on one of the invincible masters of the extreme evil tribe. The invincible master roared and tried his best to resist. But when he touched the continent, his body trembled violently and he coughed up blood. Then, Lu Ming grabbed with his big hand and a huge palm condensed. It grabbed at the person and caught him in his hand. The remaining 2 invincible masters of the extreme evil tribe finally took the opportunity to retreat tens of thousands of miles away. Everyone at the scene sucked in a breath of cold air. They were extremely shocked. The extreme evil race's 5 invincible god masters faced off against Lu Ming. Surprisingly, they were defeated by Lu Ming. 2 of them were seriously injured, one was captured by Lu Ming, and the other 2 retreated in panic. These were 5 invincible divine masters. What was an invincible divine master? It meant that they were invincible in the divine master realm. Any one of them would be invincible. They could even surpass realms and fight source powers. 5 of them had joined forces, yet they had been defeated so easily. 4 times of break G. A phrase flashed through everyone's mind. That's right. Only someone who had broken through 4 stages of extreme break would have such combat prowess. However, how difficult and rare was it to break through 4 times? Even in the great desolate continent of the previous epic, there were very few of them. In the current era, there were only 2 of the 6 great factions. And these 2 were creatures of the Forbidden Lands. However, the creatures of the Forbidden Lands weren't from this era at all. They had sealed themselves in an unknown era and had only awakened in this era. And Lu Ming was a human. Obviously, he was from this era. How could someone break through 4 stages of extreme break in this era? The hearts of the people at the scene were in a perilous state. Even the 9 demonic spiders elites, Fu Yuan, and the others couldn't remain calm. The 9 demonic spiders elites couldn't help but retreat and distance themselves from Lu Ming. Fu Yuan, Zhao Wuji, and Yen Wudao looked at each other with complicated expressions. Especially Fu Yuan, who smiled bitterly. It turned out that Lu Ming hadn't treated him as a real opponent and hadn't used much strength at all. If Lu Ming had used all his combat prowess, he might not have been able to block even 1 attack. How did Lu Ming cultivate? How could he be so strong? His bloodline wasn't of a high level. The humans in the Azure Divine Realm couldn't figure it out. Among them, Lu Weiyang and Pang Zhao's faces were pale. Lu Ming's combat prowess had completely exceeded their expectations. With such combat prowess, in this era where origins didn't appear, it was impossible to kill him as long as he didn't fall into an origin grade array. They were too naive to think that they could kill someone with a borrowed knife. At the same time, they were a little worried that Lu Ming would take revenge. No, the origin tribulation will be over in a few hundred years. If he dares to touch me, my grandfather will definitely not let him go. Lu Weiyang comforted himself. If Lu Weiyang thought so, Pang Xiao was even less worried. His background was much stronger than Lu Weiyang's. Hand over Senior Mulins or I'll kill this person. Lu Ming's voice spread throughout the area. He formed a giant hand with his forbidden power and grabbed the extreme evil race elite. When he exerted force, the extreme evil race elite spat out a mouthful of blood. Damn it. Damn it. The extreme evil race elite glared angrily at Lu Ming and roared in his heart. However, none of the tens of thousands of extreme evil race elites dared to step forward and attack Lu Ming. If Lu Ming had really broken through 4 times, they wouldn't be able to do anything to Lu Ming, no matter how many of them there were. A 21-man combined attack array wouldn't pose much of a threat to Lu Ming, no matter how many of them there were. Unless Lu Ming was trapped in an origin grade array formation. However, Lu Ming wouldn't be so stupid as to enter an origin grade array formation obediently. Or perhaps they could deploy a 36-man combined attack array formation. However, the extreme evil race didn't have such a combined attack array formation. Like the primordial light race, it wasn't worth it to refine a 36-man combined attack array formation. Furthermore, if the Origin Great Elite hadn't sealed himself in a deep sleep, such a combined attack array formation wouldn't have been of much use. However, a dignified forbidden area had been invaded and their invincible divine master had been captured and threatened. This was a great humiliation. Unfortunately, they couldn't do anything to Lu Ming at all. Senior brother Evil Cicada is here. It's young master Evil Cicada. Suddenly, there was a commotion behind the extreme evil race. Many people looked behind them. Two figures appeared behind them, stepping through the air. One of the two youths was bald. He wore a black robe and exuded an extremely evil aura from head to toe. Evil Cicada. When Fu Yuan, Zhao Wuji, and the others saw this bald youth, their pupils constricted, and they were filled with fear. Evil Cicada was known as the top divine master of the extreme evil race. He had broken through 3 times and was even stronger than Zhu Tian of the 9 demonic spider race. It was said that Evil Cicada wanted to break through 4 times. The extreme evil race had a total of 7 invincible divine masters who had broken through 3 times. Aside from Mo Sha, there were also the 5 who had joined forces to attack Lu Ming. The last one was Evil Cicada. It was said that this person was extremely evil and his methods were extremely vicious. Anyone who offended him would end up in a miserable state. However, when everyone's gaze turned to the youth beside Evil Cicada, their eyes widened. Shi Tianting. It's Shi Tianting. Why is Shi Tianting of the Dark Sky Vine race here? Many people exclaimed. Oh no. Fu Yuan, Zhao Wuji, Han Yu, and the others' expressions changed drastically. It was as if they had seen something terrifying. Chapter 50-23. Lu Ming's gaze landed on the young man immediately. Lu Ming's sharp spirit sense told him that this person was very dangerous. As for Evil Cicada, he ignored him. He didn't care about a person who had broken through 3 levels. The young man also looked at Lu Ming. Their gazes clashed in the void like sharp swords. Interesting. Shi Tianting smiled faintly. He looked at Lu Ming with great interest. Soon, Evil Cicada and Shi Tianting came to a place not far from Lu Ming. Brother Shi, I'll have to trouble you this time. Evil Cicada cupped his fists at Shi Tianting. Don't worry. Since I've read your evil sword steel and promised to do something for you, I'll definitely help you this time. But after this, we'll be even, Shi Tianting said. His voice was very gentle, as if he was never in a hurry to do anything. Okay, it's a deal. Evil Cicada nodded and then looked at Lu Ming. Lu Ming, right? If you want to save people, you can fight with Brother Shi. If you win, you can take them away. What? Shi Tianting wants to fight with Lu Ming? Many people were excited. The current 6 forces of the universe had as many experts as there were clouds in the sky. The 6 forces combined had dozens of invincible divine masters. But there were only 2 people who were undefeated. 2 peerless geniuses who had broken through 4 levels. Shi Tianting was one of them. Shi Tianting was too strong. Invincible divine masters couldn't withstand a single blow from him. Usually he rarely fought. It was said that the 2 of them who had broken through 4 levels would often spar in private, but others couldn't see it at all. It was said that Shi Tianting's heart was higher than the sky. He wanted to change his fate and break through to the Origin under the Great Tribulation of the Origin. According to the ancient legends, anyone who broke through to the Origin under the Great Tribulation of the Origin would undergo a transformation and obtain a heaven-defying fortune. They would go further in the future. There was another saying that if one could break through the Origin Tribulation during the Origin Tribulation, their chances of becoming an immortal would greatly increase. As long as they did not die along the way, they were almost certain to become an immortal. However, if one wanted to break through to the Origin realm under the Origin Tribulation, the difficulty was so great that it made one despair. Moreover, it was extremely dangerous. If one moved, one's body and Tao would vanish, and one's soul would scatter. Throughout history, there had been countless talented geniuses with lofty ambitions. They wanted to break through under the Great Tribulation of the Source and obtain a path to the Great Tao of the Heavens, but in the end, they all died. Fu Yuan, Shi Tianting is a 4-time extreme break. You have to think twice. Han Yu couldn't help but send a voice transmission to Lu Ming. Thanks for the reminder. Lu Ming sent a voice transmission to Han Yu. Then, he glanced at Evil Cicada and fixed his eyes on Shi Tianting. Okay, let's fight. Lu Ming's answer was very simple. It was only 2 words, but it was sonorous and powerful, pressing forward courageously. He had no reason to refuse this battle. Needless to say, this battle was related to Mulin's. Even if Mulin's wasn't involved, he wouldn't refuse. A 4-time extreme break. There was actually a 4-time extreme break in the Western universe. This was beyond his expectations. The 3 forbidden lands in the Eastern universe didn't have a 4-time extreme break in the Eastern universe. He had always wanted to know if his combat strength was at the 4-time extreme break. No one had been able to verify it before, but now that there was an opponent to verify it, how could he refuse? Boom. Suddenly, a powerful aura erupted between Lu Ming and Shi Tianting. The shocking aura collided in the air, creating an extremely terrifying energy. The energy swept out like a gust of wind. Retreat. The others around them frantically retreated, not daring to stay nearby. Even the invincible Divine Lords didn't dare to get too close for fear of being sucked in. When a 4-time extreme break attacked with all his strength, even the invincible Divine Lords might be injured if they got too close. Everyone retreated far away, leaving a large space between Lu Ming and Shi Tianting. I hope Shi Tianting can kill Lu Ming. Lu Weiyang and Pang Xiao prayed in their hearts. Lu Ming's combat strength was too strong, so strong that it made their hearts tremble. Although they had backers behind them, these backers were now in a deep sleep. If Lu Ming went crazy, it would be better to be killed. Lu Ming moved his mind, and the invincible Divine Lord of the extreme evil race was put into the ancient desolation ring. The divine battle spear shook slightly and a forbidden energy appeared on its surface. Shi Tianting grabbed the air with his right hand and a black sword appeared in his hand. This sword had a strange shape. It was thin and long. It was only a finger wide, but it was 3 meters long. Buzz. Shi Tianting raised his right hand slightly and a terrifying energy surged into the black sword. The sword let out a terrifying sound. The energy of the two became stronger and kept clashing in the air. Suddenly, the two of them moved at the same time and rushed towards each other like 2 rays of light. The spear aura and the sword aura surged at the same time and clashed in the air. Clang, clang, clang. The sound of metal clashing was heard continuously. The two of them were so fast that they had exchanged dozens of blows in an instant. Every time they clashed, there would be a small burst of sword chi and spear aura that swept in all directions. With the two of them as the center, the surrounding space was completely messed up. They're so powerful. Is this the combat strength of a 4-time extreme break? I'm afraid that's the power of their origin. It's terrifying. Many people were discussing. The combat strength of a 4-time extreme break? You're thinking too much. This is just a test. I'm sure that they haven't used their full strength yet. An invincible Divine Lord sneered. What? They're already so powerful, but they haven't used their full strength? Many people were shocked. But they didn't doubt it. Ordinary people naturally couldn't compare with invincible Divine Lords. Even those with a weak cultivation level could not see the figures of Lu Ming and Shi Tianting. They could only see the rays of light moving in the void, sometimes left and sometimes right, sometimes up and sometimes down, constantly exchanging blows. In the blink of an eye, dozens of blows had been exchanged. Suddenly, the 2 rays of light retreated at the same time, revealing the 2 figures. Shi Tianting, there's no need to hold back. Use your full strength, or else you won't be a match for me. Lu Ming said. That's what I wanted to tell you. Fight with your full strength. Shi Tianting's voice was sonorous, and his aura was getting stronger and stronger. One could see that his eyes were changing. One of his eyes was as black as an abyss, while the other was as red as a sea of blood. At the same time, his left hand grabbed at the air, and another long sword appeared. The shape of this long sword was almost the same as the previous one, thin and long. However, the color of this sword was different from the previous one. The color of this sword was crimson, and it was a dazzling crimson. Shi Tianting suddenly roared, and the two long swords slashed at Lu Ming from two different directions. As they slashed, the two long swords underwent a huge change. The two long swords actually split. One split, two splits. When they neared Lu Ming, there were at least dozens of forks on the two long swords. The two long swords looked like two rattan vines. Chapter 50-24. The two swords seemed to have transformed into two rattan vines, one pitch black and the other blood red. The rattan vines were like tentacles that grabbed at the void. With a sudden fling, the void actually moved. The void seemed to have turned into a material object that was grabbed by the rattan vines and smashed towards Lu Ming. The void around Lu Ming completely collapsed, forming a destructive force that bombarded Lu Ming. A Genesis technique. Lu Ming's eyes narrowed slightly. This wasn't a simple space attack, but a Genesis technique. Grabbing the void was just a manifestation of this technique. Lu Ming was certain that there was no mistake. This was definitely an origin technique. This was the first time Lu Ming had encountered a Forbidden Land creature that could use a Genesis technique at the Divine Master stage. No wonder Shi Tianting could break through 4 times of the Extreme Breaker stage. His combat strength was already very strong, and with his Genesis technique, his combat strength far surpassed other invincible Divine Masters. Lu Ming didn't dare to be careless. He directly activated the battle art to increase his combat strength by 9 times, raising his combat strength to the peak. Swish! Lu Ming swept the God of Combat spear out in a sweeping manner. An arc of spear light swept out in all directions. Rumble! The War God spear and Shi Tianting's attacks collided repeatedly. In the end, Shi Tianting's attacks were blocked. However, Shi Tianting's attacks were like a storm. After one move was blocked, the two rattan swords' attacks changed again and continued to extend. Not only could they grab the void in all directions, but they could also grab any energy to attack Lu Ming. Shi Tianting stood in the distance, but his storm-like attacks completely enveloped Lu Ming. Lu Ming constantly brandished the War God spear to block the storm-like attacks. Lu Ming is at a disadvantage. Shi Tianting is really strong, as expected of one of the two invincible experts. Although Lu Ming is strong, he's still a little weaker. Many people were discussing. Lu Weiyang and Pang Xiao revealed looks of joy. They were looking forward to Lu Ming being unable to resist and being killed by Shi Tianting. Even if Lu Ming hadn't been killed by Shi Tianting, he would have been severely injured. If Lu Ming was seriously injured, the 9 demonic spider and the elites of the extreme evil race would not let him go. Once Lu Ming was seriously injured, there was no need for Shi Tianting to kill him. Lu Ming would also die. What do you know? Shi Tianting seems to have the upper hand, but he may not necessarily win, said an invincible Divine Master coldly. What? We might not win? Many people were puzzled. Didn't Shi Tianting have the complete upper hand? Shi Tianting's attacks are violent, and he seems to have the upper hand. However, Lu Ming doesn't show any signs of defeat. He is resisting and looking for an opportunity to counterattack. That's right. Although Shi Tianting's attacks are violent, they also consume a lot of energy. As time goes on, he will definitely run out of energy. On the other hand, Lu Ming might seem to be at a disadvantage, but he won't consume as much energy to block the attacks. As long as Shi Tianting's attacks slow down, Lu Ming will launch a fierce counterattack. Let's see if Shi Tianting can completely defeat Lu Ming before he runs out of energy. Several invincible Divine Masters commented one after another. So that's how it is. Lu Weiyang and Pang Xiao began to worry again. In fact, these invincible Divine Masters were not wrong. The only thing that wasn't right was that Lu Ming wasn't completely powerless to fight back. If Lu Ming attacked with all his strength, he could still fight back against Shi Tianting. But there was no need. To be honest, Shi Tianting's attacks were indeed very powerful and weren't any weaker than Lu Ming's. There was no need to fight back against Shi Tianting. Firstly, Lu Ming wanted to observe his opponent's Genesis arts. Secondly, it would be easier for him to counterattack when his opponent's attacks slowed down. More than 10 minutes passed in the blink of an eye. Shi Tianting's attacks lasted for more than 10 minutes. Even Lu Ming could not help but exclaim in amazement. The living beings of the Forbidden Grounds were truly gifted and blessed by nature. Shi Tianting's true form was the Tian Yin vine, a kind of plant life. In terms of divine power or origin power, plant life was at the top. However, no matter how powerful it would be exhausted eventually. After more than 10 minutes of continuous attacks, Shi Tianting's attacks finally slowed down. Sky-breaking form. Lu Ming finally seized a gap in his opponent's attacks and performed the sky-breaking form. He became one with the spear and stabbed out. With a bang, Lu Ming broke through Shi Tianting's attack and the peerlessly sharp spear aura went straight for Shi Tianting's forehead. Shi Tianting's expression changed. He waved his right hand and the pitch-black vine sword, which was thousands of miles away, suddenly shrank back. Yes, it was so fast that even Lu Ming was surprised. It was much faster than Lu Ming's attack speed. In an instant, it shrank back in front of Shi Tianting. Shi Tianting flicked his wrist and the vine sword continued to spin, forming layers of sword shadows that blocked in front of him like a shield. Lu Ming's peerless spear aura stabbed on the sword shield. With a boom, Lu Ming's attack was blocked. However, Shi Tianting was not in a good condition either. He hastily set up a defense and could not completely block Lu Ming's attack. The pitch-black vine sword vibrated continuously and his body was also violently shaken as he retreated rapidly. However, in the process of retreating, Shi Tianting waved left and right and the blood-red vine sword swept towards Lu Ming. The vine sword split open and extended dozens of vines. Each vine was like a peerlessly sharp divine sword that slashed towards Lu Ming. Primeval desolation form. Lu Ming struck out with his left palm and a piece of land was formed. It rushed vertically towards the blood-red vine sword and blocked it. However, Lu Ming did not stop and continued to rush towards Shi Tianting. Whoosh whoosh whoosh, the long spear vibrated and streaks of terrifying spear aura covered Shi Tianting. Shi Tianting continued to retreat. As he retreated, he waved his black vine sword to block. His two long swords, one red and one black, one attacking and one defending, actually cooperated seamlessly. It was not easy for Lu Ming to take down his opponent in a short period of time. The two quickly exchanged blows and unleashed their full combat strength. In the blink of an eye, they had exchanged dozens of blows. The two had already exchanged more than 100 blows since the beginning. Gradually, Lu Ming finally gained the upper hand. The desolate form and the sky-breaking form were executed consecutively. Shi Tianting could only retreat and block at the same time. Finally, under Lu Ming's ferocious attacks, the celestial vine revealed a flaw. Lu Ming seized the opportunity and executed the sky-breaking form with all his might. It turned into a peerless spear aura and attacked this flaw. Although Shi Tianting tried his best to block it, he could not completely block it. With a puff, a figure retreated rapidly. It was Shi Tianting. There was a bloody hole in his chest, and blood was flowing out of it. The two of them did not use their top source-grade battle armor in the battle just now. This was the tacit understanding between top experts. It was not a life-and-death battle. What was the point of using a top source-grade battle armor? It would not be much of a tempering for oneself either. Lu Ming did not continue to attack. Instead, he looked at Shi Tianting calmly. "I've lost." Shi Tianting let out a long sigh with a complicated expression. The scene was in an uproar. This scene was too unexpected. Shi Tianting, who was known to be undefeated in the Divine Master realm, was actually defeated. Chapter 5025. Before this, no one would have thought that Shi Tianting would be defeated in a battle between Divine Masters. Shi Tianting was known to be invincible, and it wasn't just for show. He had never been defeated in a battle of the same level. Among the 6 major forces in the Western universe, he only had one opponent, but it was a draw at most. He had never been defeated. To think that he would have lost today. To think that he would lose in the hands of a human. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, it would have been hard to believe. The experts of the 9-Yin demonic spider and the extreme evil tribe were pale. After the shock, the experts of the human race became excited. Their human race finally had an invincible expert. In the era of origin, with such an expert in charge, they really had nothing to fear. Of course, Lu Weiyang and Pang Xiao didn't think so. At this moment, they were roaring in their hearts, and their faces were extremely ugly. "Let's go, let's leave first," Pang Xiao whispered, and then slowly retreated with Lu Weiyang and left quietly. Lu Ming had defeated Shi Tianting, and he instinctively felt that something bad was going to happen. "I was lucky." Lu Ming looked at Shi Tianting and said. He was telling the truth. Shi Tianting's combat strength was really very strong. If it was a life-and-death battle, Lu Ming wasn't confident that he could kill Shi Tianting. This battle made Lu Ming understand once again that there was always someone better than him. Originally, after he had achieved great success in his cultivation, especially when he forced the 3 tribes of the Forbidden Lands to not dare to fight, especially when he fought against the Origin without being at a disadvantage. This made his confidence soar. He once thought that he should be invincible in the Divine Master realm. At this moment, he realized that the world was too big, and there were too many geniuses. He had a fortuitous encounter, and so would others. He was talented, but others were more talented. It was too difficult to be invincible forever. You won by luck. If we weren't in the Void Universe, you might not have been able to defeat me. Shi Tianting said, his eyes still bright. Lu Ming was slightly stunned, but he immediately understood. Almost all the creatures in the Forbidden Lands were not creatures of the Void Universe. They came from outside the universe. In the untainted Void Universe, they would be suppressed, especially those above the Origin level. For example, the Celestial race. Under the Origin, their talents were extremely high and their battle prowess was strong. They were stronger than the other races in the universe. However, after reaching the Origin, they would be suppressed and their battle prowess would be weaker than the other races in the universe. The essence of the Heaven Destroyer and the essence of the Heavenly Human Tribe had clashed many times, and the essence of the Heaven Destroyer always had the upper hand. Shi Tianting was the same. Although he was not an Origin Master, he was already at the peak of the Divine Master realm. Cultivating an Origin seed would also cause him to be greatly suppressed. Another reason was that Shi Tianting might not have been born in the primitive universe. Those born in this world would be less suppressed. For example, most of the descendants of the Heavenly Human clan were born in the primitive universe. They already had the mark of the primitive universe on their bodies, so they would be less suppressed. If Shi Tianting had not been suppressed, Lu Ming might not have been able to defeat him. However, the winner takes all. A loss is a loss. Everything else is just a reason. In the end, it's because I'm not strong enough. If I'm strong enough, no matter what the situation is, I won't be defeated. Today, I admit defeat wholeheartedly. After Shi Tianting finished speaking, he looked at Evil Cicada and continued, Evil Cicada, I've already agreed to your conditions. I've done my best and I have a clear conscience. From now on, you and I don't owe each other anything. Goodbye. After that, Shi Tianting cupped his fists, turned around, and stepped into the air. In the blink of an eye, he disappeared without a trace. Evil Cicada's face was a little ugly. He did not expect that even with Shi Tianting's help, he still could not defeat Lu Ming. He even wasted one of Shi Tianting's conditions. What a loss. Now that Shi Tianting was gone, what else could he do? Evil Cicada, you must accept your loss. Hand her over. Lu Ming looked at Evil Cicada and said, Well, since I've lost, I will fulfill my promise. Men, bring Lu Ming's senior sister out. Evil Cicada shouted. However, no one responded. What's going on? Evil Cicada frowned and glanced at the other experts of the extreme evil tribe. Evil Cicada, I don't know where Lu Ming's senior sister is. Yeah, I didn't see his senior sister at all. I've been guarding the entrance, and I didn't see anyone bring his senior sister Mulins back to the extreme evil land. Many experts of the extreme evil tribe spoke one after another. Lu Ming's face turned ugly. In his opinion, the extreme evil tribe was just quibbling and did not want to hand her over. Don't play tricks with me. Mo Sha and the others are in my hands. If anything happens to my senior sister, they will all die. Lu Ming said, his voice extremely cold. Who the hell sent his senior sister back? Get out here. Evil Cicada roared. However, no one from the extreme evil tribe responded. Evil Cicada's face turned ugly. Under the watchful eyes of everyone, If he did not hand her over, others would think that he was playing tricks and was a sore loser. Then he would lose a lot of face. Lu Ming, why don't you let Wuxia out and ask him? He definitely knows who sent your senior sister back to the extreme evil land. I can guarantee you that I'm not playing any tricks, Evil Cicada said. He was just short of swearing. I hope you're not playing any tricks, Lu Ming said coldly. Then he grabbed the air and Wuxia appeared in his hand. Wuxia looked around in confusion. When he saw that he was in the extreme evil land and saw Evil Cicada and the others, he immediately shouted, Evil Cicada, hurry up! Join hands and kill this brat. Wuxia had been locked in the ancient desolation ring and his cultivation had been sealed. He did not know what had happened outside. Wuxia, shut up, Evil Cicada shouted. Then, Wuxia was stunned. He was not stupid. When he saw Evil Cicada's attitude and Lu Ming's unscathed appearance, he had a bad feeling in his heart. Could it be that Evil Cicada and the others could not do anything to Lu Ming? Lu Ming's strength was actually so strong? Or was it because he was worried about their safety and did not dare to attack Lu Ming? Either way, it was not friendly to him. He immediately chose to shut up. Wuxia, who did you send to escort Lu Ming's senior sister, Mulin's, back to the extreme evil land? Evil Cicada asked. Lu Xia and the others. But are they not here? Wuxia asked. Did any of you see Lu Xia and the others return? Evil Cicada asked the others of the extreme evil tribe, but everyone shook their heads. They did not see Lu Xia and the others return. Send a message to Lu Xia and the others immediately. Evil Cicada shouted. At this moment, Lu Ming's face was very ugly. He observed carefully and found that Evil Cicada and the others did not seem to be playing tricks. They did not seem to be acting. If it was true, then the people who escorted Mulin's did not return to the extreme evil land at all. Then where did they go? Could it be that something happened along the way? At this moment, Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. Just now, someone had sent him a message through a voice transmission jade talisman. Lu Ming took out the voice transmission jade talisman without batting an eyelid. He scanned it with his spiritual consciousness and was immediately overjoyed. It was Mulin's who had sent him a message. Chapter 5026. Mulin's sent a message to Lu Ming. Mulin's anxiously told Lu Ming that she was fine and that she had escaped. She also told Lu Ming not to be tricked by Wuxia and the others. She also told Lu Ming not to be threatened by Wuxia and the others. Senior sister actually managed to escape. Lu Ming didn't show it on his face, but he was overjoyed on the inside. Moreover, since Mulin's could send a message to him, it meant that Mulin's shouldn't be too far away. If she was too far away, the message wouldn't reach him. Senior sister, I'm fine. Where are you now? Lu Ming secretly replied. I'm a little injured, but it's not a big problem. You don't have to worry. I'm rushing to the Azure Divine Realm. Junior brother, where are you? I was just trying to send a message, but I didn't expect you to receive it. Aren't you in the Azure Divine Realm? Mulin's replied. Mulin's also knew that if Lu Ming could receive her message, he definitely wasn't in the Azure Divine Realm. He must be close to her. I'm in the land of extreme evil. Lu Ming replied. The land of extreme evil? Junior brother, why did you go to the land of extreme evil? Did the extreme evil race find you? You can't stay there for long. Hurry up and leave. Mulan transmitted her voice. She seemed very anxious. Senior sister, don't worry. I'm fine. Senior sister, how did you escape? Wuxia sealed my cultivation and had several experts of the extreme evil race escort me to the land of extreme evil. However, when I was close to the land of extreme evil, I broke through the seal and recovered my cultivation. Then I killed my way out. Mulin's replied simply. Lu Ming knew that although Mulin's explanation was simple, it must have been shocking. It wasn't that simple. Wuxia had sealed Mulin's cultivation. Ordinary people wouldn't be able to break it. Even an invincible divine master would find it difficult to break it. With his strength sealed, he couldn't even use the slightest bit of strength. How was he supposed to break the seal? For Mulin's to be able to remove it, she must have suffered a lot or paid a heavy price. Senior sister, Lu Ming doesn't need to return to the Tsangqing divine realm for the time being. Find a secluded place to recuperate and wait for me to find you. Lu Ming transmitted his voice. Mulin's had escaped, so her injuries were probably not light. She had to quickly find a place to treat her injuries so that there would not be any future troubles. Previously, she had probably rushed to the Azure Divine Realm because she was worried about Lu Ming. Junior brother, you have to be careful. I'll look for a place to treat my injuries. I'll give you the detailed address when I find it. Mulin's replied. After that, Lu Ming calmly put away the voice transmission jade talisman. Although Mulin's managed to escape, she couldn't just let it go. Lu Sha, it's Lu Sha and the others. Suddenly, someone from the extreme evil tribe shouted. Lu Ming looked toward the void in the distance and saw a few figures flying over at high speed. There were a total of 3 people and their auras were a little weak. They were obviously injured. Wasn't Lu Sha the person who escorted Mulin's? What a coincidence that he was back now. Lu Sha, come over here. Evil Cicada shouted. Lu Sha and the other 2 quickly flew towards Evil Cicada. Evil Cicada, what's going on? Lu Sha looked around and saw so many people gathered here. He was a little confused and didn't understand what was going on. They glanced at Lu Ming, but they didn't know Lu Ming and didn't know that Lu Ming was the person they were looking for. He's Lu Ming. Evil Cicada pointed at Lu Ming. What? Lu Sha was a little confused. Why would Lu Ming come to the extreme evil tribe? Then Lu Sha shouted, Evil Cicada, it's Lu Ming. He killed Moken? Wait, Lu Sha, who was shouting, suddenly saw Mo Sha in Lu Ming's hand and was stunned again. What's going on? Why was Mo Sha in Lu Ming's hand like a dead dog? What happened while they were escorting Mulan to the hospital? They had originally escorted Mulan back to the land of extreme evil in advance, but they were delayed halfway because of something. What exactly happened after such a delay? How did Mo Sha end up in Lu Ming's hand? Lu Sha, it's like this. Nearby, a young man from the extreme evil tribe who was on good terms with Lu Sha hurriedly transmitted a message to Lu Sha and briefly explained the situation. Then, Lu Sha was stunned for the 3rd time. Lu Ming defeated Mo Sha, Zhu Tian, and the others. He even suppressed Mo Sha and Zhu Tian and killed his way to the extreme evil tribe. No one in the extreme evil tribe was a match for Lu Ming, and Lu Ming even defeated Shi Tianting. Was he dreaming? Wasn't this too inconceivable? Lu Sha, Evil Cicada shouted, waking Lu Sha up. Let me ask you, where's Lu Ming's senior sister, Mulin's? Evil Cicada asked. Mulin's? She escaped. Lu Sha answered instinctively. She escaped? Around them, the humans, the 9 demonic spiders, the extreme evil tribe, and the dark heaven warriors all looked at each other. Mulin's escaped? Impossible, Mulin's cultivation was sealed by me. How could she escape? Mo Sha roared, finding it hard to believe. Mulin's cultivation was sealed by him, so she didn't have much combat power left. Moreover, Lu Sha himself was an expert who had broken through twice. How could Mulin's escape? Indeed, she managed to escape. Right when we were about to reach the abominable land, that Mulan actually managed to break through the seal on her own and recover her cultivation. Then she attacked me. In my haste, I was injured by her, and she managed to escape. Lu Sha said. How is it possible? How could she break through my seal? Lu Sha, don't talk nonsense. Mo Sha roared. He found it hard to believe that Mulin's could break through the seal that he had personally set. Didn't that mean that he was trash? He couldn't accept it. This is absolutely true. Lu Sha almost swore on the spot. Lu Ming knew that what Evil Cicada said was true, because it matched what Mulan said. Okay, I understand. Evil Cicada waved his hand and then looked at Lu Ming. Lu Ming, your senior sister has escaped and is probably rushing back to Tsangqing Divine Realm. Since your senior sister is fine, let's forget about this matter. You should also release Mo Sha and the others. Lu Ming smiled. As he smiled, his eyes became colder and colder. Forget about it? You guys used despicable means to detain my senior sister, wanting to use her to threaten me. Now that my senior sister has escaped with her own abilities, Don't you think it's ridiculous that you're telling me to just let this matter go? Lu Ming sneered. In the beginning, they used despicable means to capture Mulins to threaten him. If Lu Ming's strength was lower, he would have died in the hands of the other party. Mulins escaped with her own ability, but the other party wanted to forget about it and let Lu Ming release Emo Sha and the others. How could that be possible? Then what do you want? Evil Cicada asked. Originally, Emo Sha and the others were used to exchange for my senior sister. Now that she escaped with her own ability, you have to use other bargaining chips to exchange for them. Lu Ming said. Lu Ming, don't go too far. Offending the extreme evil tribe won't do you any good. Emo Sha roared. Chapter 50:27. Bam. Ah. Lu Ming tightened his grip, and Emo Sha screamed as a few more bones in his body were broken. Speak. What do you want? Evil Cicada asked. I don't want much. 2 top-tier soul-grade divine herbs and 20 ordinary ones. Lu Ming said indifferently. What? You're asking for too much. 2 top-tier soul-grade divine herbs? Don't even think about it. Many experts of the extreme evil race shouted. Top-tier soul-grade divine herbs were treasures that even Origin Realm experts would be jealous of. Lu Ming wanted 2 of them. 2 invincible divine lords, 5 or 6 first break and second break experts, and more than 20 other experts. 2 top-tier source-grade divine herbs and 20 ordinary source-grade divine herbs, it's not excessive at all. If you don't want to trade, then you can only collect their corpses. Lu Ming's eyes turned cold. How dare you? Someone from the extreme evil race shouted. They didn't believe that Lu Ming would dare to kill 2 invincible divine lords of the extreme evil race. That would completely offend the extreme evil race, and they wouldn't rest until one of them was dead. The Origin Tribulation would be over in a few hundred years. When that time came, all the experts of the extreme evil race would come out. No matter how powerful Lu Ming was, he would still die. A 4-time break might be invincible under the Origin Tribulation. However, once the Origin Tribulation was over, he would be nothing. They didn't want to hand it over. What could Lu Ming do? Is that so? Lu Ming's eyes turned cold. He grabbed Emo Sha's hand and exerted force. Bam! The lower half of Emo Sha's body exploded. Emo Sha's cultivation had been sealed by Lu Ming. Without cultivation, he naturally couldn't control the top-tier soul-grade armor. Therefore, Emo Sha was defenseless. If Lu Ming wanted to kill him, it would be as easy as flipping his hand. Emo Sha let out a shrill cry. You! The people of the extreme evil race didn't expect Lu Ming to be so bold. The killing intent emitted by Lu Ming was too dense. It didn't seem to be an act. They had a feeling that Lu Ming really dared to kill Emo Sha. Lu Ming indeed dared to kill. He had nothing to be afraid of. The creatures from the 3 forbidden lands in the Eastern Universe, as well as the heavenly human tribe, would fight to the death with him. None of these factions were weak. Once the Origin Tribulation was over, the experts of the 3 tribes of the Forbidden Area would not let him go easily. So, one more member of the extreme evil race didn't matter. Lu Ming didn't care. If you don't, they'll die. Lu Ming said coldly. All right, let's change. The evil cicada gritted its teeth. 2 invincible divine masters and 5 or 6 experts who had broken through the first or second stage of the extreme breakthrough were worth far too much. It was nothing now, but their potential was limitless. In time, they would become top powerhouses. For someone who had broken through once or twice, reaching the peak of reciprocity was no problem at all. In fact, he was very confident that he would be able to break through the immortal tribulation transcendence realm. As for the invincible divine masters who had broken through the 3rd stage of the extreme breakthrough, even if they became deities, they still had a slight chance. In the future, they would become the backbone of the extreme evil race. It would be a pity if they died now. Although top source-level divine medicines were precious, they were foreign objects after all. They could be found again if they lost them. However, top elites weren't that easy to nurture. In the end, the people of the extreme evil race took out 2 top source-level divine medicines and 20 ordinary ones and gave them to Lu Ming. Then, Lu Ming let Emo Sha and the others go. Zhu Tian, do you want them? Then, Lu Ming looked at the people of the 9 demonic spider. Of course, name a price. An invincible divine master of the 9 demonic spider said. Although he knew that he would lose a lot of money, he had to save Zhu Tian and the others. Easy. 2 top source level divine medicines for Zhu Tian and the others. I'll pack them up and return them to you. Lu Ming said. What? 2 top source level divine medicines? We only have 1 invincible divine master in your hands. Why do you want 2 top source level divine medicines? The invincible divine master of the 9 demonic spider roared. Just now, 2 invincible divine masters of the extreme evil race had fallen into Lu Ming's hands. 2 invincible divine masters in exchange for 2 top source level divine medicines. They had originally thought that 1 top source level divine medicine would be enough to exchange for Zhu Tian and the others. They hadn't expected Lu Ming to ask for 2. I heard that Zhu Tian has defeated other invincible divine masters many times. How can an ordinary invincible divine master compare to someone like him? Naturally, the price will be higher. In addition to the 9 demonic spider, 2 top source level divine medicines isn't too much. I don't want ordinary source level divine medicines. The extreme evil race added 20 ordinary source level divine medicines just now. Lu Ming said lightly. At that moment, Zhu Tian was already in Lu Ming's hands. When he heard this, he almost vomited blood. What was this? Had he really become a commodity? Moreover, he had defeated other invincible divine masters in the past and had become a bargaining chip for Lu Ming to increase the price? Was it wrong for him to be strong? Was it wrong for him to defeat other invincible divine masters? Why did he have to do this to him? At that moment, Zhu Tian wanted to buy a piece of tofu and kill himself. How humiliating! Are you going to exchange or not? If not, I'll kill them on the spot. Lu Ming's voice was filled with murderous intent. Yes, we'll exchange. An invincible divine master of the 9 demonic spider roared. They could see that Lu Ming was a madman who feared nothing. Threats were useless against Lu Ming. He would really kill Zhu Tian and the others. 2 top source level divine medicines. So be it. 2 top source level divine medicines. We don't have any top source level divine medicines on us. You'll have to wait for us for a while. An expert of the 9 demonic spider said. Sure. Lu Ming said. Most people wouldn't carry top source level divine medicines on them unless they were like Lu Ming, who had a treasure like the Chaos Ring. Top source level divine medicines wouldn't lose their efficacy if they were stored in the Chaos Ring. Instead, they could be cultivated to increase their efficacy. However, treasures like the Chaos Ring were extremely rare. This was the Chaos Universe, not a minor kiliacosm. Such treasures were extremely rare. As Lu Ming's knowledge increased over the years, Lu Ming understood how precious the Chaos Ring was. Back then, Life Spirit, the owner of the Heavenly Court, had left the Chaos Ring to him. The more Lu Ming thought about it, the more confused he became. The top source level divine medicines of the creatures in the Forbidden Lands were all kept in the Forbidden Lands. The people of the Extreme Evil tribe had also captured 2 top source level divine medicines from the Extreme Evil Land. The people of the 9 demonic spider also wanted to return to the 9 demonic ruins to capture the top source level divine medicines. Lu Ming waited quietly. During this time, he sent a message to Mulins, asking her to wait for him for a while. The 9 demonic ruins wasn't too far from the Extreme Evil Land. It wouldn't take too long to travel through the wormhole. About 10 days later, the people of the 9 demonic spider returned with 2 top source level divine medicines. Lu Ming checked and was very satisfied. He put the 2 stalks of top-notch source level divine herbs into the ancient desolation ring and then released Zhu Tian and the rest. After Zhu Tian regained his freedom, he looked at Lu Ming with resentment. However, Lu Ming didn't care. Chapter 5028. Lu Ming didn't care about Zhu Tian's attitude towards him. He wasn't afraid of Zhu Tian's revenge. In fact, he wanted Zhu Tian to take revenge on him so that he could exchange him for a few top-tier source-level divine herbs. Senior Sister Mulins is fine. I obtained 4 top-tier source-level divine herbs and 20 ordinary ones, Lu Ming pondered. In this way, Lu Ming had 12 top-tier source-level divine herbs. He had 12 days in a month to refine the source spirit medicinal liquid. His cultivation speed would definitely increase by a lot. Lu Ming. Emo Sha suddenly called out to Lu Ming. Lu Ming looked at Emo Sha. This guy had just regained his freedom. What was he trying to do? Lu Ming, do you want to know how we caught your senior sister Mullins? Emo Sha asked. Lu Ming didn't say anything. He just stared at Emo Sha. He knew that since Emo Sha had said so, he would definitely say it. Of course it was someone from the human race who secretly informed us. They used a trick to kidnap a good friend of your senior sister Mullins called Du Ling. They forced Du Ling to send a message to Mullins and ask her to come out. Then we waited outside and captured Mullins. Emo Sha sneered. What? Who is it? How despicable. Damn it. The human experts of the Tsangqing divine realm were all enraged. This was equivalent to betraying their own race and the human race. They deserved to be killed. Who is it? Lu Ming asked coldly. His voice was very cold. In fact, he had already guessed who it was. However, it was best for Emo Sha to say it. Pang Xiao. Emo Sha sneered. The reason he said it wasn't to help Lu Ming find the culprit, but to sow discord. If he said it, Lu Ming definitely wouldn't let it go. He would definitely cause trouble for Pang Xiao. This would further intensify their hatred. Why not let the human race have internal strife? As for betraying Pang Xiao, sorry, but was he close to Pang Xiao? Pang Xiao, it's actually Pang Xiao. Back then, he lost face in front of Lu Ming. It must have been for revenge. I didn't expect Pang Xiao to be so narrow-minded. Many humans were very unhappy and looked down on Pang Xiao. If this person could betray Lu Ming today, he might betray them in the future. Many people secretly decided to keep a distance from Pang Xiao in the future. Sure enough, it's Pang Xiao. I guess Lu Weiyang also contributed a lot. Lu Ming's eyes flashed with intense killing intent. How could he not know Emo Sha's motive? But he didn't care. He wouldn't let Emo Sha and Lu Weiyang off. I wonder how senior sister Mulins's injuries are? Then, Lu Ming was worried about Mulins's injuries, so he bid farewell to Fu Yuan and the others and left. After Lu Ming left, Fu Yuan and the others also left. Then, the 9 demonic spider, the Dark Heavens warriors, and the others also left. And Lu Ming's name spread to the 6 major forces of the Western universe at an astonishing speed. Not long after, Lu Ming found Mullins in a relatively hidden fragment of the continent. Mulins's face was still a little pale. But her aura was stable, and she was fine. But Lu Ming knew that when Mullins escaped, her injuries must have been very serious. Because more than 10 days had passed since then. After more than 10 days of treatment, Mulins's injuries were still not healed. Obviously, her injuries were not light. The killing intent in Lu Ming's eyes became even colder. Senior sister, let's go. Let's return to the Ashen Cyan divine realm first. You can heal yourself, Lu Ming said. There were some places in the Ashen Cyan divine realm that were suitable for healing and would be helpful to Mullins. Junior brother, you went to the abominable land? You fought with Zhu Tian and Emo Sha? Mullins asked with concern. Although Lu Ming was standing in front of her, she couldn't help but worry. Yes, I did. Immediately, Lu Ming briefly explained what had happened. Senior sister, what's wrong? When Lu Ming finished speaking, he found that Mulins's mouth was slightly open, and she was looking at him with a shocked expression. Junior brother? You really defeated Shi Tianting? Mullins asked softly. Yes, I won by luck. If it was a life-and-death battle, I might not be able to kill him. After all, he isn't a creature of the chaotic universe and is suppressed by the chaotic universe. If we weren't in the chaotic universe, I might not be able to defeat him, Lu Ming said. However, the shock in Mulins's eyes didn't fade away. Instead, it became more and more intense, and finally turned into deep admiration. True enough, no matter where junior brother Lu Ming goes, you are the most outstanding. Initially, I thought that I had a fortuitous encounter and had already surpassed you. It seems that I was too naive. The gap between you and me has widened again. Mullins said. Senior sister, don't think too much. No matter what your cultivation base is, I won't let you leave. I will always protect you. Lu Ming held Mulin's hand and said. Mulin's face was slightly red, and her heart was filled with sweetness. She snorted softly. Senior sister, enter my chaotic ring. I will bring you back to the Ashen Cyan Divine Realm, Lu Ming said. More than 10 days later, Lu Ming returned to the Ashen Cyan Divine Realm. After returning to the Ashen Cyan Divine Realm, Mulin's went to a special place to recuperate. Although more than 10 days had passed and Mulin's injuries had healed, he still couldn't be careless. Lu Weiyang, Pang Xiao, Lu Ming's eyes burst out with shocking killing intent. His figure flashed and disappeared in the air. Lu Ming's first target was Lu Weiyang. However, when he arrived at Lu Weiyang's residence, he found that Lu Weiyang wasn't there. Did he hide? Then let's go to Pang Xiao's residence. Unless you hide and never return to the Ashen Cyan Divine Realm. Lu Ming's eyes were cold. Pang Xiao was very famous in the Ashen Cyan Divine Realm. His residence was easily found out by asking around. Soon, Lu Ming arrived at Pang Xiao's residence, outside a very large palace. The Ashen Cyan Divine Realm was vast and sparsely populated. Pang Xiao's palace was very luxurious. Lu Ming's spiritual sense spread out and immediately shrouded the palace. He immediately sensed that there were many people inside. Among them, the auras of Lu Weiyang and Pang Xiao were inside. Boom! Lu Ming's aura erupted. Cold, killing intent surged into the palace like a tide. The people in the palace suddenly felt a strong pressure, as if dozens of stars were pressing down on them. Pang Xiao, Lu Weiyang, get out here! Lu Ming shouted coldly. His voice was very loud as he dashed into the hall. Within the palace, Lu Weiyang and Pang Xiao were rather pale. This Lu Ming really did come. Lu Weiyang was rather panicked. The thought of Lu Ming's strength made him shiver. Let's go and meet him. I don't believe that he really dares to attack us. Brother Feng, we'll have to rely on Brother Feng. Pang Xiao clasped his fist to a youth next to him. This youth was called Zhao Feng. He was also a supreme genius and another invincible god lord of the Ashen Cyan Divine Realm. Chapter 5029. Zhao Feng was a helper that Pang Xiao had invited. I'll do my best, but Lu Ming was able to defeat Shi Tianting, so he might not give me face. Zhao Feng bitterly smiled. If it were anyone else, he would have stepped in and helped Pang Xiao block the attack. But Lu Ming was able to defeat Shi Tianting. There was no doubt that he had broken through 4 times, so he could only do his best. If it were an Origin Realm expert of Pang Xiao's faction who had once shown great kindness to Zhao Feng would not want to get involved in this mess. Besides Zhao Feng, there were also a few other experts that Pang Xiao had invited. Brother Feng is too modest. With so many of you here, that Lu Ming won't dare to act recklessly. Otherwise, he'll offend all of us, and he'll find it very difficult to move around the Azure God realm in the future. Pang Xiao said. Pang Xiao was very confident in this point. After so many years of development, the Azure God realm had naturally developed into factions of various sizes. Almost half of the factions in the Azure God realm were involved in these invitations, so they were extremely powerful. Swish, swish, swish. Pang Xiao and the others took to the air and flew out of the hall. Before he could leave the hall, he saw Lu Ming standing in the air outside the hall. Upon seeing Lu Ming, Lu Weiyang and Pang Xiao couldn't help but feel nervous. They couldn't help but feel nervous in front of Lu Ming. He doesn't dare to touch me. He doesn't dare to touch me. Pang Xiao inwardly encouraged himself, and then he stared at Lu Ming and said, Lu Ming, you've come to my residence in such an aggressive manner. That doesn't seem to be against the rules, does it? Against the rules? Lu Ming gave a sinister smile and said, What rules do I need to follow to kill someone? Lu Ming's eyes brimming with killing intent made Pang Xiao and Lu Weiyang shiver and involuntarily take a few steps back. Lu Ming, what's the meaning of this? Who do you want to kill? Pang Xiao shouted. Pang Xiao, are you asking the obvious? You colluded with Mo Sha and Zhu Tian to secretly capture Zhu Tian and deceived my senior sister Mulin's, letting her fall into the hands of Zhu Tian and Mo Sha. You deserve to die 1,000 times for your sins. Lu Ming said coldly. Slander. Mo Sha is slandering. He's trying to drive a wedge between us and cause internal strife. Lu Ming, you're a peerless genius. Can't you understand this? Pang Xiao shouted. Of course, he wouldn't admit it. He pushed all the blame onto Mo Sha and said that Mo Sha was slandering him, trying to sow discord. Even if someone suspected that he did it, he could not admit it. If he admitted it, his reputation would be completely ruined, and he could forget about staying in the Azure Divine Realm in the future. Anyway, as long as he didn't admit it, who could say that he did it? Can you provide evidence? Anyway, Du Ling had already been killed by them. Pang Xiao sneered in his heart. Lu Ming sneered as well. He already knew that Pang Xiao wouldn't admit it, but so what? He was here to kill today, not to listen to Pang Xiao's explanation. You don't have to deny it. I'm not here to listen to your excuses. I'm here to kill you. Also, Lu Weiyang is involved now. I'll send you to hell today. Lu Ming said coldly and stepped forward. The cold, killing intent made the temperature of the scene drop sharply. Pang Xiao and Lu Weiyang's faces turned pale. They kept retreating with fear in their eyes. Lu Ming was here to kill them. Lu Ming was really here to kill them? Why was he so bold? There were still a few hundred years before the Source Tribulation was over. Wasn't he afraid of death? However, Lu Ming's murderous intent was unmistakable. It was too cold. Did Lu Ming really want to kill them? Lu Ming, you're trying to frame me. I didn't do anything to your senior sister. By killing the innocent, you're making an enemy of the entire human race in the Azure Divine Realm. Pang Xiao bellowed. He wanted to use his momentum to suppress him. However, Lu Ming did not stop. He continued to move forward step by step. He was firm and powerful. His murderous intent was like a tide. Instead of weakening, it was getting stronger. Pang Xiao and Lu Weiyang kept retreating, their faces even paler. Brother Feng, help me out. Finally, Pang Xiao looked at Zhao Feng's group. Brother Lu, this one is called Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng stepped forward and stood between Lu Ming and Pang Xiao, clasping his fists. You want to interfere? Lu Ming coldly said. He had naturally heard of Zhao Feng's name. The number of invincible god lords in the Azure Divine Realm could be counted on one hand. How could he not know? He hadn't been in the Azure Divine Realm for long, but he had already heard of Zhao Feng's name. But so what? It was just an invincible god lord. Why would he care? Brother Lu, this might not have been Pang Xiao's doing. Why don't you give me some face and just let it go? Zhao Feng said. That's right, Brother Lu. How about we just let this matter go? Killing Pang Xiao won't do you any good, Brother Lu. The other young men also stepped forward and said, Scram. If you don't scram, you'll die with Pang Xiao. Lu Ming couldn't be bothered to waste words with them. With a cold bellow, the war god's spear appeared in his hand. Lu Ming. Zhao Feng and the others were enraged. They had never imagined that Lu Ming would not give them any face. Yes, Lu Ming was strong. He had broken through 4 times, and no one in the Azure Divine Realm could compare to him. But no matter how strong he was still a god lord. Once the Origin Tribulation was over, what would a god lord be? They all had powerful experts standing behind them. Lu Ming was not giving them any face at all. He was telling them to scram, and if they didn't scram, he would kill them as well. How arrogant! Boom! Lu Ming couldn't be bothered to waste words, so he simply swung the war god's spear. The war god's spear rapidly expanded until it was the size of a mountain range as it hurtled toward Zhao Feng's group. Oh no! Block it! Zhao Feng and the others grimaced. They hadn't expected for Lu Ming to be so arrogant as to attack without giving them any leeway. They could only do their utmost to block. There was a boom, and the experts led by Zhao Feng were blasted back, all of them vomiting blood, their faces pale. Even Zhao Feng, who had broken through 3 times, vomited blood. Deep shock appeared in their eyes. Strong, too strong. Lu Ming was too strong. Was this the power of someone who had broken through 4 times? Only by personally fighting with him could they truly understand how terrifying Lu Ming was. An invincible god lord who had broken through 3 times was far too weak. I said, if you don't scram, we'll kill you all. Lu Ming coldly barked. Zhao Feng and the others all paled. They sensed that Lu Ming really would do as he said. If they continued to interfere, Lu Ming really would kill them. Pang Xiao, I've done my best. You're on your own now. Zhao Feng suddenly clasped his fist and then vanished into the distance in a streak of light. Zhao Feng. Pang Xiao roared, despair in his eyes. Farewell. The others also clasped their fists and left. No. Pang Xiao and Lu Weiyang were truly panicking. When they saw Lu Ming's chilling gaze, their bodies went cold. Lu Ming, don't be impulsive. You have unparalleled talent and broken through 4 times. You have a chance of becoming an immortal in the future. You have a great future, but if you kill me, my grandfather, my father, and the others won't let you go. There's no need for you to take me down with you. It's not worth it. Pang Xiao roared. Chapter 50-30. Pang Xiao roared, threatening and begging for mercy. He was already a little submissive. He had to calm Lu Ming down first. He had already decided in his heart that as long as he could calm Lu Ming down this time, he would find a hidden place to stay for a few hundred years and wait for the origin tribulation to pass. As long as the origin tribulation was over, he would tear Lu Ming into pieces. Don't worry, when the origin tribulation is over, those people behind you will be obedient. If you want to court death, I will send them to accompany you. Lu Ming said coldly and then stabbed out with his spear. Swoosh. The sharp spear light went straight for Pang Xiao's glabella. Pang Xiao roared crazily and then tried his best to resist. A suit of armor appeared on his body, enveloping his entire body within. At the same time, he used all his strength to launch a killing move. There was no doubt that the divine weapon and armor Pang Xiao used were all top-notch. With his background and backing, it was not difficult for him to get a set of top-notch divine weapon and armor. However, his attack was completely vulnerable in front of Lu Ming. Under the pressure of the war god's spear, his attack directly collapsed. With a ding, the war god's spear accurately pierced Pang Xiao's glabella, but it was blocked by the top-notch divine armor. However, there was still a terrifying force that passed through the armor and bombarded Pang Xiao's head. Pang Xiao screamed, feeling that his head was about to explode. His head was completely deformed. Even with the top-notch divine armor, he couldn't block Lu Ming's attack. With one move, Pang Xiao was seriously injured. Go! At this moment, Lu Weiyang was almost scared to death and frantically fled into the distance. While Lu Ming was dealing with Pang Xiao, he wanted to take the opportunity to escape. Unfortunately, Lu Ming had already locked onto him. With a palm strike, a continent appeared above Lu Weiyang's head and pressed down. Bang! Lu Weiyang was directly blasted down and smashed into the ground. Even with the protection of the battle armor, his body was shattered like a pile of mud. Although he wasn't dead, he was hanging on by a thread. Help! Lu Ming is crazy. He slaughtered his own kind. That's a capital offense. Someone save me. Lu Weiyang and Pang Xiao let out miserable shrieks and cries for help. In the distance, there were still people watching. Unfortunately, no one dared to save Lu Weiyang and Pang Xiao. One reason was that Lu Ming's combat power was too strong. No one in the Ashen Azure Divine Realm was a match for Lu Ming. Even if all the invincible divine masters in the Ashen Azure Divine Realm joined forces, they probably wouldn't be able to stop Lu Ming. The second reason was that Pang Xiao and Lu Weiyang had most likely betrayed Mulin's. Although Pang Xiao tried to deny it, they weren't fools. It was such a simple matter that they could figure it out with a little deduction. Also, someone had specifically looked for Du Ling, but Du Ling seemed to have disappeared from the world. Everyone knew that Du Ling had most likely been killed. Since Pang Xiao had done such a thing, no one would bother to save him. Therefore, they pretended not to hear. Today, no one can save you. Lu Ming charged at Pang Xiao again. Lu Ming, if you kill me, you won't have a good ending. You will also die. Pang Xiao let out a shrill cry. Bang! Lu Ming directly lashed out with his spear and hit Pang Xiao's body. Pang Xiao's body crackled as his bones shattered. His body flew out horizontally. However, Lu Ming's figure flashed and appeared in front of Pang Xiao. He swept out with his spear again. In this way, several consecutive attacks were launched. The terrifying power penetrated the battle armor and directly blasted Pang Xiao into pieces. Pang Zhao's body and soul were destroyed. Then, Lu Ming grabbed Pang Zhao's battle armor and divine weapon with one hand. Of course, he also grabbed Pang Zhao's storage bag. Then, Lu Ming looked at Lu Weiyang. Lu Weiyang was almost scared to death. His guts were all broken. Lu Ming, spare my life. I beg you to spare me. I'll do anything for you in the future. I'll be your slave. I beg you to spare me, Lu Weiyang began to beg miserably. In the distance, some people despised Lu Weiyang. He was too spineless. In order to survive, his bones were soft. It's too late to beg for mercy now. Why didn't you think about this when you dealt with me time and time again? Did you think that you could kill me before? Lu Ming sneered. He didn't bother to pay attention to Lu Weiyang's begging and directly attacked. Lu Weiyang's combat strength was even worse. His defense was worse than Pang Zhao's. He was killed by Lu Ming in 2 moves. At this point, Lu Weiyang and Pang Zhao were both killed. Lu Ming put away Lu Weiyang and Pang Zhao's storage pouches and came to Tianlan Court, waiting for Mulin's to come out of seclusion. The news that Lu Ming killed Lu Weiyang and Pang Zhao quickly spread throughout the Chongqing Divine Realm, causing a great uproar. Some people thought that Lu Ming shouldn't have killed Lu Weiyang and Pang Zhao. It was forbidden to kill people of the same race in the Chongqing Divine Realm. It was a serious crime. They said that Lu Ming was too arrogant because of his strength and should be severely punished. Of course, these people only dared to whisper behind his back. They didn't dare to stand out and shout. There were also people who thought that Lu Weiyang and Pang Zhao should be killed. They actually colluded with Mo Sha and Zhu Tian to frame Mulin's. They wanted to use Mulin's to force Lu Ming. This kind of behavior was despicable and deserved to die. The Chongqing Divine Realm was noisy for a while before it calmed down. In the end, no one stood up for Lu Weiyang and Pang Zhao. But everyone knew that this was just the calm before the storm. The origin source tribulation would be over in a few hundred years. At that time, Lu Weiyang's grandfather and the person behind Pang Zhao would awaken. They definitely wouldn't let Lu Ming go. At that time, there would probably be another storm. In the blink of an eye, a month had passed. After a month, Mulin's finally came out of seclusion. Her injuries had healed and there were no hidden injuries left. After Mulin's came out of seclusion, the two immediately set off and left the Chongqing Divine Realm. That's right, they were going to the demon race's sacred ground. In less than a year, the restrictions of the demon race's sacred ground would weaken. Lu Ming wanted to enter the demon race's sacred ground to save Huang Ling. The demon race's sacred ground was called the Thousand Demon Mountain. According to the information that Mulin's had found, in the primeval continent of the last era, the primeval demon race had several sacred grounds. The most important sacred ground of the demon race was the Dragon Phoenix Immortal Palace. However, there was no trace of the Dragon Phoenix Immortal Palace in the current ruins of the universe. Some people speculated that the Dragon Phoenix Immortal Palace had been destroyed in a shocking battle at the end of the primeval age, or that the demon race's unparalleled experts had taken the Dragon Phoenix Immortal Palace out of the primeval age. Although the Thousand Demon Mountain wasn't the most important sacred ground of the demon race, it could be ranked in the top 5. After a while, Lu Ming and the others came to a place not far from the Thousand Demon Mountain. They sat cross-legged in the void and waited quietly. The Thousand Demon Mountain didn't look big. It was suspended in the void and looked like 100,000 feet tall mountain. It was surrounded by layers of restrictions. However, Mulin's said that there was another world in the Thousand Demon Mountain. Chapter 5031. From the outside, the Wanyao Mountain didn't seem to be big, but once one entered, they would discover that the Wanyao Mountain was incomparably huge. During the prehistoric era, the Wanyao Mountain was the paradise of the demon race. Countless demons lived inside, and it was like a kingdom of demons. It would be about 9 months before the restrictions of the Wanyao Mountain weakened. They cultivated while waiting. Time passed very quickly, and 9 months passed in the blink of an eye. One could clearly see that the restrictions around the Wanyao Mountain were rapidly weakening. "Senior sister, according to our agreement, wait for me outside." Lu Ming stood up and prepared to enter the Wanyao Mountain. This was something they had discussed beforehand. Lu Ming would enter the Wanyao Mountain alone. Originally, Mullins also insisted on entering the Wanyao Mountain with Lu Ming, but Lu Ming disagreed. His reason was that if the two of them entered the Wanyao Mountain together, if an accident happened and both of them were trapped, it would be troublesome. No one would be able to find help for them. Lu Ming entered alone while Mullins waited outside. Once Lu Ming was trapped, Mullins could still find help. At the very least, he could wait for the great calamity of origin to pass and go to the Heaven Destroyer to find Fei Huang and the others to save him. This was a foolproof plan. In the end, Mullins couldn't dissuade Lu Ming and agreed. However, she was still worried when things came to this. Junior brother. Mullins wanted to say that she would enter the Wanyao Mountain with Lu Ming, but she was stopped by Lu Ming. Senior sister, I'll leave my safety in your hands. Once I'm trapped, I hope you can call for reinforcements for junior brother. Lu Ming smiled faintly. Junior brother, be careful. Mullins said worriedly. Senior sister, I'll see you later. Lu Ming smiled and turned into a ray of light, rushing towards the Wanyao Mountain. Not long after, Lu Ming appeared on the left side of the Thousand Monster Mountain. Before this, Mullins had already told Lu Ming about the situation of the Wanyao Mountain in detail, including the information that Mullins had found after checking the ancient books. She had explained everything clearly. The left side was where Mullins and Huang Ling had mistakenly entered the Wanyao Mountain. It should be a place where the restriction was particularly weak. Otherwise, it would have been difficult for Mullins and Huang Ling to enter with their cultivation. After arriving at the address, Lu Ming rushed in. Although the restriction had weakened, it was still there. Lu Ming suddenly felt a wave of pressure, but for Lu Ming, it was nothing. Back then, even Mullins and Huang Ling could enter, so how could it be difficult for Lu Ming? After breaking through layers upon layers of restrictions, Lu Ming's eyes suddenly widened. What entered his eyes was an endless stretch of mountains, vast plains, and tall, lofty, and strangely shaped buildings. There was indeed another universe within the Thousand Monster Mountain. Only by entering it would one know how vast and boundless it was. However, it was dead silent inside. As far as the eye could see, there were no living creatures. Even the desolate qi was extremely thin. Although there were dense plants growing, there were no divine medicines. Although the desolate qi here could grow plants, it could not nurture divine medicines. The Thousand Monster Mountain looked too desolate. Now that the universe has recovered, why is the Thousand Monster Mountain still so dead silent? Could it be because of that layer of restriction? Lu Ming thought to himself. Then he decided on a direction and flew forward. Mullins told him that they had an accident in a huge palace. Moreover, there were demon spirits in the Thousand Monster Mountain. The so-called demon spirits were actually formed by the indestructible will of the demon clan that had died in the Thousand Monster Mountain. They did not have intelligence and would chase after living creatures when they saw them. Back then, Mullins and Huang Ling had fled to that palace because they were chased by the demon spirits. In that huge palace, they had mistakenly entered an illusion array and the two of them were completely separated. Mullins had been trapped in that palace for many years. After going through a lot of hardships, she finally walked out of the illusion array, but there was no trace of Huang Ling. She guessed that Huang Ling should still be in that illusion array. Fortunately, that illusion array was not dangerous. It only made people fall into layers of illusions, and it even made people feel like they had fallen into reincarnation and experienced different lives. She guessed that Huang Ling had fallen into the illusion and was unable to extricate herself, which was why she had not escaped for a long time. Lu Ming only needed to enter the illusion array and bring Huang Ling out. Mullins had already told Lu Ming the route they had taken back then in detail. After Lu Ming entered the Thousand Monster Mountain, he went straight to the huge palace. As for the other surrounding buildings, Lu Ming did not check because Mullins and the others had already checked and found nothing. Even if there was something, Lu Ming was not in the mood to check. He had to find that palace as soon as possible and find Huang Ling roar. Suddenly, roars sounded from the surrounding mountains and rivers. Then, a few black figures appeared out of thin air and pounced towards Lu Ming. Demon spirits. These demon spirits looked like a few fierce tigers, but their hair was longer and their teeth were longer, like sharp swords. However, their bodies were not corporeal, but illusory, like souls. These were all formed by the indestructible will of the demon clan that had died in battle. Demon spirits, demon souls, indestructible fighting spirit. In many ancient battlefields, when many experts had died in battle, similar strange things would be formed. Therefore, any ancient battlefields where many experts had died in battle would be very dangerous. Lu Ming had experienced such a place more than once. Forbidden power circulated, condensing into a long spear and sweeping out. Bam, bam, bam. Several demon spirits directly exploded and completely dissipated. The demon spirits here were not very powerful. At least, compared to Lu Ming, they were not very powerful. Back then, Mulins and Huang Ling could withstand it. For the current Lu Ming, it was really nothing. Lu Ming did not reduce his speed and rushed forward quickly without any fear. Not to mention whether there were demon spirits with combat strength above the origin in the Thousand Monster Mountain, even if there were, they would not appear under the origin tribulation. Therefore, Lu Ming did not have any scruples at all and charged forward. He turned into a spear light and flew through the air. Wherever he passed, the demon spirits in front of him all exploded. 2 hours later, Lu Ming saw a huge palace. It was the peak where Huang Ling was trapped. Back then, Mulins and Huang Ling took half a month to escape here. Lu Ming only took 2 hours. Lu Ming's spiritual consciousness completely enveloped the palace. Soon, Lu Ming found the location of the illusory formation. Swoosh! Lu Ming dashed into the hall. Like a phantom, he shuttled through the hall and arrived at the back of the hall in no time. Lu Ming looked at the bamboo forest behind him and pondered. This bamboo forest was an illusory formation. Once one entered the bamboo forest, they would fall into the illusory formation. Chiu, once I fall into the illusory formation, you have to remind me. Lu Ming transmitted his voice to Chiu. Chiu had always been wearing Lu Ming's wrist in the form of a bracelet. Chiu was heartless. Ordinary illusory formations did not have much effect on him. Chapter 5032. Chiu was more simple-minded. To put it bluntly, it was heartless. The illusory realm did not have much effect on it. Lu Ming himself was not confident that he could withstand the illusory realm's attack. If he couldn't, Chiu could remind him or even attack him to get him out of the illusory realm. At this moment, Lu Ming couldn't help but miss Dandan. If Dandan was here, he wouldn't have to worry about this illusory realm. Sure enough, Dandan was reliable sometimes. Lu Ming muttered in his heart. Then, Lu Ming no longer hesitated and stepped into the bamboo forest. Suddenly, the surrounding environment changed drastically. Lu Ming found himself on a mountain peak. In the distance, the sun was setting in the west, dyeing the sky red. Brother Ming, come, Lao, salutes you. Suddenly, a clear voice came from beside him. Lu Ming was slightly stunned. There were ripples in his heart. He was very familiar with this voice. Even if countless years had passed, he might not forget it. Lu Yao. This was actually Lu Yao's voice. This is Emerald Cloud Peak outside Firestorm City. Lu Ming whispered with a complicated expression. Back then, it was here that Lu Yao began to fall out with him and dug out his bloodline. It was also from this day onwards that his fate had completely changed. The illusory realm had actually pulled him here. Illusory realms were usually based on the hidden things in the depths of the person's heart. Could it be that he still hadn't completely let go of that matter and Lu Yao? No, I've let go. Lu Yao has completely become the past. After so many years, Lu Yao should have died of old age and turned into bones, Lu Ming whispered in his heart. Then, he turned his head and saw a delicate and beautiful face. If it wasn't Lu Yao, who else could it be? Lu Yao held a wine glass, her big eyes blinking. Her eyes were filled with adoration as she looked at Lu Ming. There must be poison in the wine, Lu Ming said indifferently. Lu Yao's hand froze in midair. Her beautiful eyes were filled with bewilderment as she stared at Lu Ming. Brother Ming, what did you say? Are you joking with Yao? Joking? The reason you treat me to a cup of blood snake orchid wine every day is nothing more than to nourish your bloodline. Your goal is to seize my bloodline. As long as I drink this cup of wine, I will be at your mercy, right? Lu Ming said coldly. Brother Ming, Lu Yao's body began to tremble. Her large eyes were filled with tears as she stared at Lu Ming in a daze. Her eyes were filled with doubt, disappointment, pain, and disbelief. Brother Ming, Yao has always been true to you. Yao really didn't expect Brother Ming to treat Yao like this. What did Yao do wrong? Why is Yao so unbearable in Brother Ming's heart? Lu Yao finally couldn't hold back her tears any longer. But Lu Ming was unmoved. He sneered and said, "Still acting at this time? All right, since Brother Ming doesn't believe me, then I'll drink this cup of wine to prove my innocence." Lu Yao wiped her tears, picked up the cup and drank it in one gulp. Lu Ming was slightly stunned. He didn't expect Lu Yao to drink this cup of wine by herself. Then, he carefully observed Lu Yao and realized that she was completely fine. She didn't seem to be poisoned. What's going on? Lu Ming grabbed the wine cup, dipped his hand into the remaining wine, and put it into his mouth to taste. It was indeed blood snake orchid wine, but it wasn't poisonous. How can this be? Why isn't it poisonous? Lu Ming was puzzled. Brother Ming, are you hiding something from Yao? Have you been bewitched by someone else? The person who bewitched you is really hateful. Lu Yao gritted her teeth with a hateful expression. There was no sign of her acting at all. Lu Ming didn't pay attention to Lu Yao. His brows were tightly knitted. What's going on? It doesn't match what happened back then. Did the illusory array deliberately change it? But illusory arrays are usually reflected in the depths of the person's heart. It's a weakness that they don't want to face. Most living beings had a weak side in the depths of their hearts. It was just that most of the time, it was deliberately hidden. And illusory arrays magnified this weakness to break the defense of the person's heart and make them fall deep into it, unable to extricate themselves. Therefore, Lu Ming couldn't figure it out. Why would the first illusion he saw after entering the illusory array be Emerald Cloud Peak and Lu Yao? Moreover, Lu Yao didn't poison him. Could it be that Lu Ming still missed the past deep in his heart? He missed the relationship between him and Lu Yao when he was young. He even missed Lu Yao and hoped that Lu Yao didn't want to harm him back then and didn't want to seize his bloodline? No, I've already let go of the past. It must be the doing of the illusory array. Lu Ming kept telling himself. Brother Ming. Lu Yao kept calling out to him. Lu Ming looked at Lu Yao. To be honest, this illusory array was very powerful. Everything didn't look like an illusion. It was completely real. Lu Yao's small hand grabbed his palm. It was warm, soft and real. Lu Ming's eyes showed a trace of trance, as if he had really returned to his youth. The scenes of the years he spent with Lu Yao also appeared in front of his eyes. I thought I had completely forgotten, but I didn't expect that I still remember it so clearly. Did I really not let it go? No, it's just a kind of nostalgia. Lu Yao has already turned into a skeleton, right? Lu Ming whispered in his heart. Back then, when the primordial realm of the heaven realm was facing a great calamity, he had transferred most of the living beings in the minor kiliacosm to the primitive universe. However, Lu Yao was not among them. Needless to say, with Lu Yao's cultivation base, she wouldn't have been able to live for so long. Everything is illusory. Dissipate. Lu Ming suddenly yelled. His voice was like thunder in spring, causing heaven and earth to rumble and tremble. Then, cracks appeared on the ground and the void, constantly collapsing. Lu Yao's figure also kept becoming illusory. Brother Ming, what's going on? What's wrong with Yao? Brother Ming, I'm scared. Save Yao? Lu Yao looked at her body that was constantly fading and panicked. Her beautiful big eyes were filled with fear. She reached out to grab Lu Ming, but her body was illusory. She grabbed nothing and passed through Lu Ming's palm. Brother Ming, Yao is scared. Don't you want Yao anymore? Are you going to abandon Yao again? Lu Yao's hands kept grabbing Lu Ming. Her eyes were full of fear and longing, hoping that Lu Ming would save her. What's going on? Lu Ming found it difficult to calm down, and waves rose in his heart. This isn't right. This illusion had clearly been broken by Lu Ming. According to common sense, Lu Yao wouldn't do anything and would only dissipate with the illusion. But now, something was wrong. Everything was too real. Lu Yao seemed to be a real existence. Lu Ming couldn't figure it out. This was beyond his understanding. Lu Ming didn't know that the pool of blood on the yellow mud road was constantly shining. Chapter 5033. Brother Ming, Lu Ming, I hate you. In the end, Lu Yao let out a cry and her body completely dissipated. Before she dissipated, Lu Ming clearly saw that Lu Yao's eyes were filled with resentment. She seemed to be resentful that Lu Ming didn't save her. What's going on? What's going on? Is it because I still can't let go of Lu Yao in the depths of my heart, or is it because of this illusory formation? Lu Ming frowned and couldn't figure it out. At this moment, the previous scene had already disappeared and changed into another one. This scene was naturally reflected in Lu Ming's heart and also attacked Lu Ming's weakness. Originally, with Lu Ming's tenacious mind, he could completely guard against it and not fall into the illusory formation. However, the resentful gaze of Lu Yao when she was about to disappear would appear in his mind from time to time. That gaze was too real. Therefore, a flaw appeared in Lu Ming's mental defense line. After the flaw appeared in his mental defense line, he unknowingly fell into the illusory formation. Suddenly, a piercing pain came from Lu Ming's wrist. The bones in his wrist were about to break. The surrounding illusory formation collapsed all of a sudden and Lu Ming broke free from the illusory formation. It was Qiuqiu who saved me. That was close. Lu Ming heaved a long sigh of relief and secretly thanked his lucky stars. Fortunately, he brought Qiuqiu with him. Otherwise, it would be troublesome. I can't be careless from now on. Lu Ming shook his head and shook off the image of Lu Yao in his mind. His mind became clear again. Soon, Lu Ming fell into a new illusory formation. However, this time, Lu Ming was prepared and didn't fall into the illusory formation. Soon, he broke free from the illusory formation. Just like that, Lu Ming experienced 9 layers of illusory formations. When the 9th layer of illusory formation disappeared, the bamboo forest in front of Lu Ming reappeared. He passed. Lu Ming understood that he had passed through the illusory formation. Suddenly, Lu Ming's gaze shifted. Up ahead, Lu Ming saw a pitch-black vortex. Teleportation portal. Lu Ming could tell at a glance that this was a portal. Could it be that Huang Ling has already passed through the illusory array and entered this portal? Lu Ming pondered. However, he wasn't sure. What if Huang Ling was still in the illusory array? What if she was still in the bamboo forest? Previously, he had been trapped in an illusion and did not have the chance to find the phoenix spirit. Lu Ming, do you want to enter this bamboo forest to search? I shouldn't have fallen into an illusion, Qiuqiu said to Lu Ming. All right, then be careful. Lu Ming nodded. This was the only way. What if Huang Ling was still in the bamboo forest? Qiuqiu didn't say anything else and flew straight into the bamboo forest. Lu Ming did not have to wait too long. Half a day later, Qiuqiu returned. Lu Ming was relieved. It was good that Qiuqiu was fine. Then he looked at Qiuqiu expectantly. Lu Ming, I've already looked around and didn't find any trace of Huang Ling. In fact, there's no living creature in this bamboo forest. Qiuqiu said. No, could it be that Huang Ling really passed through the illusory array and entered this portal? Lu Ming pondered. Since she wasn't in the bamboo forest and didn't leave, she could only enter this portal. However, where did this portal lead to? Could it be that there were still secrets in Wanyao Mountain? Lu Ming finally decided to enter the portal. Since he had already come this far, there was no reason to retreat. If he retreated now, wouldn't he be abandoning Huang Ling? Impossible. With a thought, the top source-grade armor appeared and covered Lu Ming's entire body. Lu Ming also grabbed the battle god's spear in his hand. He circulated his forbidden power and prepared to deal with the danger. Then, he took a step forward and entered the portal. The next moment, Lu Ming appeared in an unfamiliar place. Where is this? Lu Ming found that he was standing on a mountain peak. The mountain peak was extremely high. Looking into the distance, he could see very far. What entered his eyes were all lush mountain peaks. The plants were lush and full of vitality. Moreover, Lu Ming felt that the desolate qi was extremely rich. It was even richer than the current desolate universe. At the same time, Lu Ming found that there was a rock in the sky. Yes, the sky here was not the sky, but a solid rock. On the rock, there were special stones inlaid, emitting a bright light, like small suns. Is this place inside the Wanyao mountain? Is the interior of the Wanyao mountain a world of its own? Lu Ming made such a guess. Because from the rocks in the sky, this place was very similar to the interior of the Wanyao mountain. Or, the structure of the Wanyao mountain was special and could absorb the desolate qi outside the Wanyao mountain and store it inside the Wanyao mountain. This could explain why the surface of the Wanyao mountain was still dead silent even though the universe had recovered. Roar! Suddenly, a few loud roars interrupted Lu Ming's thoughts. In the forest, a few giant beasts rushed to the sky and rushed towards Lu Ming. Monsters! Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. There were a total of 3 giant beasts. 2 were like giant wolves and 1 was like a gorilla. The 2 giant wolves were 10 meters tall and 20 meters long. As for the gorilla, it was over 20 meters tall. The 3 giant beasts were extremely fast and their auras were shocking, causing a gust of wind. Swish! Lu Ming stretched out his hand and grabbed. A huge palm was formed and grabbed at the 3 behemoths, shrouding them within. Boom! The palm collided with the 3 giant beasts. Lu Ming felt his palm shake slightly. What a strong power! This is definitely the monsters of the desolate universe, much stronger than the monsters of the small thousand worlds. A thought flashed through Lu Ming's mind. These giant beasts were all first-level divine masters, but their strength was shocking and their blood was boiling. Moreover, they could launch terrifying attacks, which should be demonic arts. The desolate universe monsters were born with all kinds of powerful demonic arts that were passed down from generation to generation. The monsters of the small thousand worlds couldn't compare to them and were much stronger than the major races in the universe. Lu Ming was even more certain that this was the interior of the Wanyao mountain. There were still desolate universe monsters inside the Wanyao mountain. Lu Ming used a little force and pressed the 3 desolate universe monsters to the ground. Then, Lu Ming turned into a beam of light and rushed forward. At the same time, he spread out his spirit consciousness and began to search for the phoenix spirit. Roars were heard along the way. They were all desolate universe monsters with different cultivation levels. The weak ones were below the immortal state level and the strong ones were divine masters. However, these monsters couldn't stop Lu Ming. None of them could keep up with Lu Ming's speed. Lu Ming didn't want to waste time with these monsters. He flew while looking for the phoenix spirit. There were many divine herbs in this land, so Lu Ming didn't want to bother with them. Now, Lu Ming wasn't interested in anything that wasn't source-level divine herbs. In less than an hour, Lu Ming had flown a long distance. Unfortunately, he didn't find any trace of Lu Ming. The interior of the Wanyao mountain is huge. Searching like this is undoubtedly like looking for a needle in a haystack. Why don't I let these monsters help me find? Lu Ming thought. Chapter 5034. The demons inside the Wanyao mountain were natives here. If they helped to find Huang Ling, the efficiency would definitely be higher than Lu Ming's alone. Of course, how could these demons help? So Lu Ming could only take action. Bang! Lu Ming slapped out and pressed a green eagle to the ground. Human, how did you break in? The green eagle roared, its voice full of confusion. You don't have to know how I got in. Now, I want you to help me find someone. Lu Ming said. You want me, a noble demon, to help you, a lowly human? No way. The large green condor shouted loudly. It raised its large head and was extremely arrogant. Lu Ming curled his lips. Indeed, it was said that during the primeval continent, the demons of the primeval continent looked down on the human race. Even though the human race later dominated the primeval continent and was stronger than the demons, many demons still looked down on the human race and thought that they were the noblest. They thought that the human race only developed by taking advantage of the war between the demons and the Wu people. The green eagle in front of him was obviously like that. Bang! Lu Ming was too lazy to talk nonsense with it. He stepped on the head of the green eagle and waved his hand. A forbidden force flew into the green eagle's forehead. Despicable human, what did you do to me? The green eagle roared. I placed a strand of power in your sea of wisdom. With just a thought, I can sever your soul. You'd better behave yourself. Lu Ming said coldly. You. The green eagle's eyes changed, but it lowered its arrogant head in the end. It had no choice. Its life was more important. If you want me to find someone, you should at least give me a portrait. The green eagle said. Have you seen this woman before? Lu Ming waved his hand and Huang Ling's portrait appeared. No, but I can help you find her. The green eagle said. If you had news earlier, I would have helped you extract that power earlier. If it was delayed too long, I'm afraid that I wouldn't be able to control that power. Lu Ming said meaningfully. The cyan eagle's face turned ugly. It wished it could beat up Lu Ming. But in the end, it succumbed to Lu Ming's power. It obediently lowered its head, flapped its wings, and disappeared into the sky. Then, Lu Ming did the same and controlled the other primordial world demons to help him find the phoenix spirit. In 3 days, at least a few hundred primordial desolate Aeon demons were controlled by Lu Ming to spread out and help him search for the phoenix spirit. Which human brat dares to control my Yao clansman? He's courting death. Suddenly, a loud roar came from the distant sky. It was like thunder, causing the sky to explode. Several berserk auras swept over. 5 or 6 demons flew towards Lu Ming. Of the 2 demons flying at the front, one was a flying snake with a pair of wings. It was extremely huge. The other demon looked like a fierce tiger, but its body was snow-white like a white tiger. Perhaps it had the bloodline of the white tiger. The white tiger was also a powerful race among the primordial world demons. Peak Divine Master. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. These 2 monsters were both at the peak of the Divine Master realm. As for the 4 demons at the back, Lu Ming actually knew them. That was because these 4 demons were controlled by Lu Ming to search for the phoenix spirit. It seemed that these 4 demons were unwilling to be controlled and had found helpers. Not bad, not bad. Lu Ming was not angry. Instead, he was happy. Controlling the stronger demons was more effective than controlling the weaker ones. The powerful demons could command the other demons. Wouldn't it be faster to search for the phoenix spirit? Lu Ming wanted to find powerful demons, but he didn't find any. Now, the other party had come to him. The flying snake and white tiger demons were extremely fast. In an instant, they were not far away from Lu Ming. Their berserk auras rushed towards Lu Ming like raging waves. However, to Lu Ming, it was like a gentle breeze. It didn't affect him at all. Human, how did you get in? The white tiger stared at Lu Ming with wide eyes. Help me find the person I'm looking for first, and I'll tell you. Lu Ming said. You don't have the right to negotiate with us. Boy, tell us obediently and extract the power in their sea of consciousness. Then we can let you go. The flying snake shouted coldly. Its voice was sharp and piercing. Let me go? Haha, I'm afraid you don't have the ability to do that. Lu Ming sneered. No need to talk nonsense with him. Just take him down and he'll obediently submit. That white tiger snorted coldly and pounced forward. Its huge body was like a bolt of lightning, charging toward Lu Ming. Its huge, sharp claws scratched toward Lu Ming, bringing about a violent force. First break. As soon as the white tiger attacked, Lu Ming could sense that its combat strength was at the first break, which was equivalent to the strength of the strongest Lord of Heaven. Of course, this was just a preliminary judgment. If the other party was still holding back, it would be difficult to judge. Combat strength could only be judged when it was completely displayed. On the surface, Lu Ming was no different from an ordinary peak divine master. Lu Ming punched out and collided with the white tiger's claws. Boom! Crack! After a violent explosion, there was the sound of bones breaking. One of the white tiger's claws was deformed and twisted. Its huge body was pushed back. The white tiger looked at Lu Ming in shock. It had used almost 80% of its strength in that attack. Lu Ming was also a peak divine master, so it didn't dare to underestimate Lu Ming. But it didn't expect that he would be injured as soon as they exchanged blows. However, its claws wriggled quickly and were covered by a layer of white light, quickly recovering. What a strong recovery ability! The primordial chaos demon race's bloodline talent isn't just for show. Lu Ming was a little surprised. Among the 3 strongest races of the primordial chaos, The demon race and the Wu people were much stronger than the human race. The demon race had a bloodline inheritance. When a demon was born, their blood would inherit all kinds of techniques from their ancestors. When they grew up, they could almost learn them without a teacher. The Wu people were born with strong bodies and could destroy the world. The human race's innate talent was much weaker than the demon race and the Wu people. However, the human race could cultivate and improve their talent and potential, especially after the Holy Ground Sacred Scroll appeared. This person is very strong. Let's work together to deal with him. That flying snake snorted coldly. It flapped its wings and charged toward Lu Ming. At the same time, the white tiger roared and dashed toward Lu Ming, unleashing all of its combat power. The two demons worked together and used their killing moves. Their coordination was flawless. Looks like they've used all their strength. It's still the extreme break, Lu Ming thought. Then he grabbed at the air and formed a long spear with his forbidden power. He swung it twice. The two spear auras pressed down on the two demons. Boom, boom. The spear auras shattered the attacks and hit the two demons. Chapter 50-35. The two demons were hit by the spear radiance and smashed to the ground. Many of their bones were broken and they were severely injured. Of course, Lu Ming showed mercy and did not kill them because there was no need to. Firstly, the primordial demons were also living beings of the primordial universe. They came from the same origin as him and had no enmity with him. Why should he bear a grudge? Secondly, if he kept them alive, they could help him find Huang Ling. It was the best of both worlds. How could this be? The other four demon race beings could only watch with their jaws agape. To think that the two strong helpers that they had brought along would be defeated just like that. Effortlessly. This was a complete one-sided slaughter. Then their bodies turned cold. It's over. It's over. We're dead meat. Lu Ming would not let them go. They froze on the spot, not daring to escape or speak. Lu Ming landed beside the white tiger and the flying snake and sent two streams of forbidden power into their spiritual consciousness. The white tiger and the flying snake were dejected. They understood that their life and death were already in Lu Ming's hands. Then, Lu Ming showed the white tiger and the flying snake the portrait of Huang Ling. Have you seen her before? Isn't this Huang Ling? The white tiger exclaimed in surprise. You've seen her before? Lu Ming was shocked and could not help but blurt out. He did not mention the name Huang Ling at all, nor did he mention the demons that were controlled by him previously. However, the white tiger said Huang Ling's name immediately. There was only one explanation. The white tiger had seen Huang Ling before and even knew her. Of course I've seen her before, but it was a long time ago, probably 10,000 years ago. The white tiger said. You saw Huang Ling 10,000 years ago. How is she now? Where is she? Lu Ming asked a few questions. I already said that I saw her 10,000 years ago. How would I know how she is now? However, I know where she is. The white tiger said. Where is she? On the myriad demon path. The white tiger said. Myriad demon path? Lu Ming was puzzled. That's right. The Myriad Demon Road is a forbidden area of the Myriad Demon Mountain. There are all kinds of legends about it. According to the legends, there are heaven-defying fortunes inside. According to the legends, one can leave the Myriad Demon Mountain after passing through the Myriad Demon Road, opening the passage between the Myriad Demon Mountain and the universe. The white tiger explained. Leave the Thousand Monster Mountain? Could it be that you can't leave the Wanyao Mountain? Lu Ming was greatly surprised. Of course not. Otherwise, why would I ask you where you came from? White Tiger said. Lu Ming's eyes flashed. This was indeed the case. Not only had the White Tiger asked this question, the other monster races had also asked the same question. Why? Lu Ming continued to ask. He had no choice but to ask. This was a matter of great importance. If the Yao clan and the others couldn't leave, didn't that mean he couldn't leave as well? In the last era, a shocking war broke out in the primeval continent. The primeval continent was destroyed. At the last moment, the experts of the Myriad Demon Mountain sealed the Myriad Demon Mountain with supreme immortal force and powerful treasures. The interior of the Myriad Demon Mountain was completely isolated from the outside world. The passage was closed and we monsters couldn't go out. Until more than 10,000 years ago, Huang Ling suddenly appeared. She came from the outside, which gave us hope. We thought we could go out through the passage she came in, but unfortunately, the white tiger explained and sighed in the end. Can you tell me how you came in? The flying snake asked with a hopeful look in its eyes. Lu Ming immediately told him about the passageway that he had entered. I didn't expect you and Huang Ling to come in through the same passage. We've already checked it and it's useless. You can only go in but not out. The white tiger sighed and its face was full of disappointment. Lu Ming's face also turned a little pale. Can't go out? Do I have to stay here for the rest of my life? This was unacceptable to Lu Ming. Let's take it one step at a time. At least I know about Huang Ling, Lu Ming comforted himself. Where is the myriad demon path? Take me there. Lu Ming said. Okay, we'll take you there, but you can't go out of the myriad demon path. If you want to go in, be prepared to be trapped there forever. The white tiger reminded. It's okay, hurry up and heal your injuries. I'll wait for you. Lu Ming said. The other four monsters heaved a sigh of relief. It seemed that Lu Ming didn't plan to deal with them. The talent of the monster race was indeed powerful. In less than an hour, the white tiger and the flying snake's injuries were mostly healed. Come with us. The white tiger said and flew into the sky with the flying snake. Lu Ming followed closely behind. With the white tiger and the flying snake leading the way, naturally, no demons stopped Lu Ming. His journey was smooth and unhindered. Half a day later, Lu Ming saw two mountain peaks. These two mountains were so majestic that they were like two sharp swords inserted into the ground. The two mountains were very close to each other, forming a canyon. At this moment, a cry came from one of the mountains. Following that, a fiery red figure flew rapidly towards them from the mountain. The phoenix. Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. This red light was clearly a fiery red phoenix that was shrouded in crimson flames. It was a fire phoenix. The fire phoenix was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, it arrived in front of Lu Ming and stopped not far away. Big sister. Greetings, big sister. The flying snake and the white tiger hurriedly flew over and bowed to the fire phoenix. Big sister? Lu Ming was a little speechless. It seems that this fire phoenix is female. Lu Ming looked at the fire phoenix carefully. To be honest, this fire phoenix looked very similar to the phoenixes in the small Kiliacosm. However, its temperament was a little different. This fire phoenix gave off a powerful pressure. Its body was like a furnace that contained a terrifying aura. The bloodline level was completely different. This was the true primordial demon race. The demon races in the small Kiliacosm or the universe were all evolved from the flesh and blood of the demon race experts who died in battle in the previous era. They only had the appearance, but they were mixed blood. Their appearance was similar, but their essence was completely different. They were not of the same level. The fire phoenix did not look at the white tiger and the flying snake. Her eyes were fixed on Lu Ming. How did a human get in? The fire phoenix spoke. Her voice was clear and pleasant, like that of a 17 or 18-year-old girl. In fact, Lu Ming could see through the life origin aura that this fire phoenix was not old. It was considered very young among the demon race. Big sister, we asked. He came in from the same passage as Huang Ling, the white tiger said. He came in from the same passage as Huang Ling? The fire phoenix looked disappointed, but she quickly recovered and said, Why did you bring him here? Big sister, he came to find Huang Ling. He said that he also wants to enter the 10,000 demons path. The white tiger replied. He also wants to enter the 10,000 demons path? The fire phoenix suddenly raised her voice and continued to look at Lu Ming. Boy, you want to enter the 10,000 demons path? That's right. Please make an exception. Lu Ming cupped his fists. Chapter 5036. The fire phoenix pondered and said, Kid, do you know the specific situation of the 1,000 demons path? I don't know. Lu Ming shook his head. Okay, then I'll tell you. The 1,000 demons path is the sacred path of the 1,000 demons mountain. There are many checkpoints inside, and each checkpoint has a unique skill of the demons. If you can comprehend it, it will be a great opportunity. However, if you can't comprehend it, you will be trapped in the Thousand Demons path forever. The Fire Phoenix explained. You mean to say that you can either comprehend the entire Thousand Demons path, or you will be trapped inside forever if you can't even retreat? Lu Ming asked. No, that's why the Phoenix spirit has been in there for 10,000 years without any movement. According to the ancient records, there was once a talented person who entered and never came out until he died of old age. However, there is another legend. According to legend, if a creature can comprehend the Thousand Demons path, the seal of the Thousand Demons mountain will be opened, and the inside of the Thousand Demons mountain will be connected to the outside world. Therefore, if you want to enter the Thousand Demons mountain, I won't stop you, but I want to test you first. The Fire Phoenix said. Test me? Lu Ming asked. Of course, to test your strength and see if you are qualified to enter the Thousand Demons path. If you are not strong enough, entering the Thousand Demons path will only be courting death. The Fire Phoenix said. As her voice fell, the Fire Phoenix's aura skyrocketed. Flames soared into the sky and covered half of the void. The temperature between heaven and earth also rose sharply. The white tiger and flying snake quickly retreated and stayed far away. Come on. Lu Ming grabbed the air and the battle god's spear appeared in his hand. His eyes were bright and his battle intent was strong. He also wanted to know the strength of the primordial phoenix. There were thousands of races in the primordial demon race, but there were only two strongest races, the dragon race and the phoenix race. The strongest sacred ground of the demon race was called the Dragon Phoenix Immortal Palace. The dragon race and the Phoenix Immortal Palace ruled over thousands of demons. The Phoenix's talent and battle strength must be extremely shocking. Firmament had once told Lu Ming that most of the mystical dragon clan in the universe were of mixed blood. Only the nine-clawed dragon bloodline was closest to the primordial dragon clan. In fact, the nine-clawed dragon was only an ordinary dragon in the previous era. At that time, Lu Ming was very shocked. One had to know that the nine-clawed dragon was the highest level of the dragon race. Their talents were extremely strong, and among the 10,000 races in the universe, they would be considered top-notch talents. Of course, an ordinary nine-clawed dragon, after cultivating to the peak of the Divine Lord level, would at most have the strength of a top-tier Lord of Heaven. It would be far from the strength of the strongest Lord of Heaven. In other words, it would only be able to break through once. But it was still shocking enough. This was because during the Desolate Continent era, they were only equivalent to ordinary dragons. One could imagine that during the Desolate Continent era, there must have been dragons with even greater talent. How bad could a phoenix that was as famous as the dragon race be? Lu Ming also wanted to know how strong the peak races of the Great Desolate Aeon Fiend race were. Be careful, the Fire Phoenix warned. It flapped its wings and turned into a ray of red light, shooting towards Lu Ming. A terrifying heat wave came and the air started to crack. Then, the Fire Phoenix opened its mouth and a fire pillar shot towards Lu Ming. The temperature was even more terrifying. Even Lu Ming felt a burning sensation on his skin. Buzz. Lu Ming held the divine battle spear and slashed it down like an axe. A huge spear aura pressed forward. Rumble. The heat wave was broken and collided with the fire pillar shot out by the Fire Phoenix. The two were in a stalemate for a while. Then, the fire pillar exploded. Not bad. Come again. The Fire Phoenix shouted and flapped its wings. 7 feathers flew out from its body. The 7 feathers contained a terrifying energy like 7 divine swords. Swish, swish. The 7 feathers shot towards Lu Ming. Lu Ming brandished his long spear and blocked all the 7 feathers. Is that all you've got? The primordial Phoenix clan is just SOSO. Lu Ming chuckled. His tone was full of contempt. Lu Ming wanted to provoke the other party to use its full strength. He knew that the Fire Phoenix had not used its full strength yet. Sure enough, the proud Fire Phoenix was enraged and roared, "How dare you look down on me? I will burn you to ashes." The color of the flames on the Fire Phoenix's body started to change. It turned from red to purple. With a long cry, the purple flames surged and formed a new phoenix. This phoenix was completely formed by flames. However, it was vivid and lifelike as if it was real. Flapping its wings, the phoenix condensed from purple flames pounced on Lu Ming. The fire phoenix's body also pounced towards Lu Ming. The two phoenixes formed a pincer attack. A joint attack technique. Before the other party's attack arrived, Lu Ming could feel the terrifying power of the fire phoenix's attack. A fire phoenix was actually able to perform a joint attack. It was truly miraculous. Sky-piercing. Lu Ming focused on dealing with it. His spear light flashed and fought with the fire phoenix. In an instant, the two of them exchanged 7 or 8 moves. There was no doubt that the combat strength of this fire phoenix was astonishingly strong. It was definitely at the 3rd level of extreme break. Moreover, after performing such a joint attack, its combat strength was definitely at the top of the 3rd level of extreme break. Lu Ming judged that it should be stronger than Zhu Tian of the 9 demonic spider clan. Lu Ming had never fought with the evil cicada of the extreme evil clan. However, according to the legends, the evil cicada's combat strength was above Zhu Tian's. It was one of the few people who was closest to the 4th level of extreme break. Lu Ming estimated that this fire phoenix was probably not weaker than the evil cicada. Of course, without the 4th level of extreme break, it was not Lu Ming's opponent. Lu Ming was as still as a mountain. He kept waving his war god spear and sent the fire phoenix flying. The two phoenixes, one real and one illusory, constantly surrounded Lu Ming and attacked him together. The two were originally one, so the joint attack was naturally flawless. There was no flaw and it could exert its power to the extreme. Unfortunately, it couldn't do anything to Lu Ming. After dozens of continuous attacks, the two phoenixes suddenly retreated. The phoenix condensed from purple flames rushed back to its body and disappeared. "No more fighting, no more fighting," the fire phoenix screamed and began to restrain its aura. "Done trying? Am I qualified to enter the 10,000 demons path?" Lu Ming said. "You're a freak." The fire phoenix said. "Lu Ming, you are indeed qualified to enter the 10,000 demons path, but don't be too proud. You should have broken through the 4th level of extreme break. Being able to break through the 4th level of extreme break proves your talent. However, even if you have broken through the 4th level of extreme break, you may not be able to cross the 10,000 demons path." The fire phoenix warned seriously. "Whether it's possible or not, I have to go. I have no choice." Lu Ming smiled with a calm expression. Chapter 5037. The fire phoenix's gaze rotated as if she was pondering something. A long while later, a resolute look appeared in her eyes as if she had decided on something. "All right, but I want to enter the 1,000 demon path with you," the fire phoenix said. The white tiger and flying snake were alarmed by these words. "Big sister, you can't do that. If you don't leave the 1,000 demon path, you will be trapped there for the rest of your life." "Yes, big sister, it's too dangerous. You have to think carefully." The white tiger and flying snake hurriedly tried to persuade her. "You don't need to persuade me. What's the difference between staying in the 1,000 demon mountain and being trapped in the 1,000 demon path? Moreover, my cultivation has already reached its limit and I still can't comprehend a Genesis technique. Perhaps entering the 1,000 demon mountain will help me comprehend a Genesis technique and reach the 4th Genesis breaker stage." The fire phoenix was full of ambition. However, the white tiger and flying snake were still worried. "Don't worry, this guy is more talented than me. He may be able to pass through the 1,000 demon path. If that happens, the 1,000 demon mountain will be connected to the outside world and I will naturally be able to regain my freedom. This is a good opportunity," the fire phoenix said. According to her speculation, if Lu Ming really did pass through the 1,000 demon path, the opportunities within would likely disappear and she would no longer have the chance to enter the 1,000 demon path in the future. The white tiger and flying snake no longer tried to persuade the fire phoenix when they saw that she had made up her mind. "Kid, I'm called Zhao Qing. What's your name?" The fire phoenix looked towards Lu Ming and asked. "Lu Ming." Lu Ming replied. "Lu Ming, let's go. The entrance to the 1,000 demon path is between the two mountains." The fire phoenix took the lead and flew towards the two mountains. Between the two mountains was a huge valley. At the end of the valley was an ancient stone door. The fire phoenix told him that passing through the stone door would lead to the Thousand Demon Path. Once inside, one could only advance and not retreat. Let's go. Lu Ming's eyes were resolute as he stepped forward towards the stone door. The fire phoenix hurriedly followed, entering the stone door with Lu Ming one after the other. Once inside, the scenery around them suddenly changed. Lu Ming discovered that he had appeared in a small plaza. He was the only one in the square. Zhao Qing was nowhere to be seen. Lu Ming was not surprised. On the way, Zhao Qing had told him that even if the two of them entered at the same time, they would be separated after entering the 10,000 Demons Path. Both of them had to break through by themselves and explore the myriad demon path by themselves. It was impossible for them to have a chance to discuss things with each other. To walk out of the myriad demons path, one had to rely on true ability. A stone tablet. Lu Ming discovered that there was a stone tablet erected in the middle of the square. On the stone tablet, there was a carving of a black wolf. The black wolf looked like it was about to pounce, its eyes fierce. Suddenly, the stone steel shone, and the black wolf on the stone steel rushed out. The black wolf in the stone tablet roared, and its body leaped through the air, splitting into 5 black wolves and pouncing towards Lu Ming from 5 different directions. Lu Ming made a grabbing motion in the air. His taboo energy condensed into a long spear and swept it out. The spear light swept out in all directions, and the 5 black wolves were all defeated. But after the black wolves were defeated, they immediately condensed again and continued to pounce on Lu Ming, completely unharmed. Zhao Qing is right. The demon race that appeared on the myriad demon path is not a real life, but a manifestation of the demon race's demonic arts. It is impossible to defeat them. If you want to break through, you have to find the weakness of this demonic art. But to find the weakness of this demonic art, you have to be very familiar with this demonic art, Lu Ming muttered. In other words, you have to comprehend this demonic art. It was easier said than done to comprehend a demonic art and find its weakness. Moreover, this was only the first stage. The myriad demon path had 81 stages, and each stage was harder than the last. To pass all of them was as difficult as ascending to the heavens. But no matter how difficult it was, you have to pass. Lu Ming's gaze was firm as he stared at the 5 black wolves. Swoosh swoosh. The 5 black wolves pounced continuously. Every pounce was actually a variation of the demonic art. Lu Ming's figure flashed, dodging the attacks of the black wolves. As he dodged, he observed. Even though Lu Ming had never come into contact with demonic arts. But no matter how many variations there were, it was still the same. Lu Ming had mastered 3,000 ancient secret arts, and the greater half of them had been comprehended by himself. He had even created 2 secret arts that belonged to him. Lu Ming's knowledge of all kinds of arts was rare since ancient times. So even though Lu Ming had never come into contact with demonic arts, his comprehension speed was astounding. In just a few days, Lu Ming had some ideas. 10 days later, Lu Ming had completely comprehended this secret art and found its weakness. Lu Ming stabbed out 5 times, hitting the bodies of the 5 black wolves. With a poof, the 5 black wolves turned into a puff of black smoke and returned to the stone steel. In the next moment, a formation pattern appeared under Lu Ming's feet. At the center of the formation pattern was a pitch-black whirlpool. The whirlpool emitted a strong gravitational force that sucked Lu Ming in. In the next moment, Lu Ming found that he had appeared in a new plaza. This plaza looked similar to the previous one, but Lu Ming knew that he had arrived at the second stage. Because in the center of the plaza, there were 2 stone steels standing. One of the stone steels had a fierce tiger carved on it. The other stone steels had a green snake carved on it. The stone steels glowed, and the fierce tiger and green snake flew out, pouncing towards Lu Ming. At the same time, they were formed by demonic arts. Lu Ming was the same as before, dodging and comprehending at the same time. The 2 types of demonic arts were naturally more difficult to comprehend. This time, Lu Ming used more than 20 days to successfully comprehend and find the weakness. He passed this stage and entered the 3rd stage. The 3rd stage was still a plaza, but in the plaza, There were 3 stone steels. A ferocious pig was carved on one of the stone steels, a lizard was carved on one of the stone steels, and an octopus was carved on one of the stone steels. The 3 types of demonic arts attacked together. Just like this, Lu Ming calmly comprehended the demonic arts, and 10 years quickly passed. In 10 years, Lu Ming passed 19 stages and entered the 20th stage. At the 20th stage, 20 types of demonic arts appeared. On the 10,000 demon path, the further one walked, the more demonic arts there would be, and the more mysterious they would be. The demonic arts that appeared would also be stronger and more difficult to comprehend. When 20 types of demonic arts attacked together, it would be dazzling, and one would be completely clueless. It would be even harder to comprehend. At this place, Lu Ming finally encountered a difficulty. He could not completely dodge and was attacked by the demonic arts. Instantly, several wounds appeared on Lu Ming's body. Blood flowed out, and waves of stabbing pain came. It's poisonous. Lu Ming discovered that the energy of the other party's attack on his body actually contained a highly toxic poison. This poison was extremely potent. Even Lu Ming felt dizzy. On the 10,000 demon path, divine weapons and battle armors could not be used. Therefore, one could not rely on battle armors to block the attacks of these demonic arts. One could only rely on one's own strength to resist. Therefore, the 10,000 demon path was very dangerous. If one was not careful, not to mention passing through the 10,000 demon path, even one's life could be lost. Of course, the 10,000 demon path also left a way out.